Hey there, I'm Cyberchroma. Welcome to another stream. Yeah, background music. It'd be cool to, at some point, like, whenever I start a stream, there's a bunch of, like, little bits of setup that I gotta do. It'd be cool to automate that stuff at some point. Eventually, at some point. I don't got the time to do that kind of stuff right now. This stream, the contents of this stream are happening because I'm low on time to do things a little bit. We're actually not gonna be doing stuff in this scene today. Probably it's just something to have open at the beginning while I ramble about stuff. Oh, whoops, that wasn't at the beginning. Let's restart that. Whatever, it's fine. Oh, you don't. Hold on. This has nothing to do with what we're doing here, but I just want to just do a little thing. Don't mind me 1 second. I just need to move this over on top of you for no real important reason. Okay, so what we're doing today is just that I have the next YouTube video that I'm making in production currently, and I want to be working on it, but I also want to be streaming, and it's hard to juggle, find the time to do both of those things. And the next stage of what I have to do, to be honest, isn't the most super interesting, exciting thing, but it is necessary. So it's either I didn't stream tonight and was just working on what I need to be working on, or I stream and be working on such things. So that's what we're doing here today. Yeah. So the last couple streams that we did was just like, eventually what I want to be working on is the Handyman with the Unicycle, the next game that I'm properly making and all that. Oh, I didn't put out, hold on, make sure I didn't put out my stream notification stuff. Don't mind me, just over here and... Always one more thing that I gotta do. Okay, that's good. Yep. Yep. That's something that used to be automated, but the automating of that broke, and I haven't looked into why it broke yet. Again, a thing on my list for eventually. So, eventually, the main thing that I want to be working on content-wise with the streams and stuff is working on my next game, the Handyman with a Unicycle, in all its glory of what it's going to be. I'm not ready to do that just yet. Partially, thing one is I also make YouTube videos on like Unity tutorials, teaching random Unity stuff, and I just want to do more of that. I haven't done enough of that lately, so like right now, my main focus of what I want to be doing is just putting all of my efforts into just the production of that next video until it's done. But I also want to be streaming because I like streaming, so I have been doing some like filler streams the last couple days of just in a Unity scene. Let's just make some random stuff like these lasers. This was supposed to be like a robot that's kind of dragging itself across the floor. Didn't quite work out so well. Might do more with that at some point, but yeah. And then yesterday we made this catapult that had so many little weird issues, but it's turned out fine. The main problem was having a thing to like block it at the top of its where it kind of was launching. It was because physics was being wonky for reasons I still don't fully understand. It was the collision of stuff was just not wanting to be good. But yeah, it's whatever. It's like good enough that like yeah we kind of had a catapult, whatever. A lot of these things that we're making might be reused for things later on. Like the main place would be with the Handyman with Unicycle, making like obstacles and levels to different obstacles and hazards. Like these could be repurposed as those kinds of things somehow. We'll see. Yeah. Where was I going with that? So yeah, I was doing these like filler streams, kind of just making random stuff just for funsies, and also while I'm still doing like the behind the scenes. The actual thing I want to be doing is working on this next video, getting it done, and then more stuff after that. I have more other videos that I want to be doing, like 10. Francesco, hello, welcome. Hi. Hello. Basically just started giving my introduction. 1 second. Hey, y'all want to see a cat? So, okay, I guess today wasn't initially being planned to be the introduction of that I have a cat, but here you go. I thought my door was closed. It was not. So here you go. You know what? She gets to be on table. That was surprising. Wanna look in camera? No? Okay. Yeah, okay, she's just gonna... So this is Kitty. Her name is Kitty because that's what happens when you let an 8-year-old name a cat. Yeah. She's there. Okay, she can wander back and forth on my desk for a little bit and then I'll let her go. That's funny. Yeah, so that's a thing. Where was I going with any things that I was saying? Yeah, oh, come back around. Yeah, there she goes. Yep. So hello, Francesco, and anyone else who may be here. That's funny. Francesco, while you're here, actually, something I wanted to ask you about that I just mentioned at the beginning of the stream. In terms of getting stuff with my stream stuff back up and running, you helped me set up a while back my stream notifications. Hi, hello. You helped me set up my stream notifications being like automatic, like it automatically sending out stuff whenever I go live. It broke a while back, and since then I've just been manually doing stuff. If we could work together to get that back up and running at some point, could be now, could be later. Like I'm not in super much of a hurry on that, but that would be great. I was thinking about that with testing with their API. I don't know what API you are referring to, but yeah. No problem. I've been busy with school. No, like not a problem. Not a problem at all. Not slightest in the problem. Don't mind me just petting my cat off screen. Yeah. She's on the older side. She's been having some health problems recently, so that's been fun. But she's doing good. Yeah, no rush on that at all. Could be like 2 months from now that we actually do that. Just something to bring up while I have you here. Yeah, there's other parts of just my general stream setup that'd be cool to automate. Like, I have this like thing that's randomly playing like this sort of playlist of just a bunch of random video game music. I always have to like start it manually at the beginning of the stream because like something like that. Just it automatically, or I press like have some hot key on my keyboard and all that automatically goes. Or like whenever I stop my stream, I do my outro and then have to fumble around hitting the actual stop stream button. If I just random things like that, it'd be cool to just automate to be better, but not super important, especially because right now I have a whole bunch of other things that I'm kind of considering higher priority. Like I said, the main thing I'm working on right now is my next video that isn't even meant to be a big thing. It's a small thing anyway, but just getting done another tutorial in this unique style that over here, this unique style with the swinging monitors and all that that I wanted to get done, and then making more in this style, but having each one be cooler than the last in theory. Yeah. I think she wants it down. Let me just whoop. Down you go. Yeah. What was I saying? I was mid-sentence and making more videos, and then working on getting back to working on the Handyman with the Unicycle full time. Eventually these streams will converge, that then like basically every stream for 2 months in a row will be working on Handyman with the Unicycle. But I'm getting there. I'm working on it. Just have some things that I want to do beforehand, that like making more videos and then making some things that are kind of preparing me for getting back to working on that. Just making cool things along the way. But today isn't going to be that like I don't expect today to be a super amazing, spectacular 10 out of 10 stream. It's just with the next stage of working on this video, I need to do some boring, tedious work that I was hoping to do between streams, but I just haven't had the time. And it was either I don't stream today to just do that tedious work, or I press the start stream button and I do that tedious work anyway. So here we are. So where we left this video, I can show stuff off with this. Is doing some of the Unity stuff. We're gonna have this be muted for right now. Waha. Oh, this isn't starting at the beginning. Hold on. We have some cool code and whatnot to be automating. I'm struggling to explain what we're doing here. Geez. We set up some stuff in Unity. Basically, I'm having a video that I'm making be in a Unity scene where we have a bunch of clips that are being on these monitors. That one will swing in, and then it'll finish, it'll go away, and the next one will swing on. We have a decent sort of, and as you can see with this clip right now, like the monitor doesn't have to be flush against the screen; it can be angled away a little bit. And there's still a whole lot of testing I want to do with just making this setup cooler, like whether the environment like will have stuff actually going on in the background, the monitor itself could be idly moving up and down, the camera of the scene, like it actually moving around an environment, like there's a whole bunch of stuff that I still want to experiment with this. This is still in very like early stages. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff that we'll get to. But like the next stage, like, as much as I might continue to be messing around with this background stuff, the next thing I want to be focusing on is the actual, like the video part of the video, the actual clips themselves, sort of get that stuff in. You could have a green screen behind you. I have considered that, and that might actually happen at some point, both for the videos and the streams themselves. My microphone's slightly on the screen. Yeah. Oh, bye. Oh, Dave H. Oh, hello. Sorry. On this, you're both blue. So I saw the message and thought that was also Francesco talking. Hello, welcome. That would make sense with the monitor pop-up. So like, it depends, right? Like, so I mean, if it's green screen where I just cut myself in this environment, then yeah. But the idea would be that. Also, so right now all these clips are me talking. Most of these clips I'm just taking the audio from, and there's gonna be completely different footage on top of. Like, most of this is gonna be like gameplay footage or footage of scrolling through code or showing a Unity scene and like, here's this stuff going on in the inspector. Most of this, very little of this video is gonna be me talking to the camera. This is just, a lot of this is temporary stuff. You made it like all this like pausing thing. The next thing I need to do is also cut off the beginning and ends of all the audio, like where I'm pressing the start and stop record button and all that. So like that's a lot of the problems with this are hopefully just stuff that's still in progress. Well, that's fine. In Unity though, you can put anything behind you after the fact. Yes, that's what I was about to get to, is that it would be cool, it could actually be very interesting to have green screen, but then actually put like, yeah, other footage behind. And what would be extra cool is like having a whole Unity scene like this, or like the this like, you know, ensemble of random stuff. Even just this, like this looks visually interesting, kind of just this assortment of cubes that are slowly being launched by the catapult there. But both for a video and even just the stream itself, because there's nothing interesting in my background. At my old place, because I just moved, I had like a shelf with random miscellaneous stuff on it, like a pile of Rubik's cubes and all that kind of stuff. For here, I don't know, I just wanted a more flat background, or like a little bit more plain, I guess. I don't know if I'll eventually paint the wall. It'd be cool to have it be a lighter color. Definitely the lighting behind me isn't as great as in my. Well, it's fine, I guess. That's a yellow light, which I don't like. I would like to change that for a white light. I think a white light looks better than a yellow light, but whatever. Like, it's small stuff that's not super important. Like for right now, because like I just moved a couple weeks ago, and then now in terms of the stuff that I'm making, I want to be mainly focusing on just this next video that I'm making in terms of the video itself and the like everything other than the me talking to the camera. And then like once this next video is done, then I'll start to do more with the everything else, I guess. Like making my background better. I could put up posters or something, but nah. But the idea of getting a green screen and then swapping it out for something that's happening in a Unity scene would be pretty cool. Yeah, like so there's either swapping it out for like, oh, here's, you know, just some environment, like whatever, stock footage, whatever. But I like more the idea, like I make something in Unity or Blender, but probably Unity, and then that's what's in the background. And not just being an image, but actually something that's like taking live from a Unity scene where stuff is happening and moving around. Would be cool, would be cool. You at the beach, yellow light trickery? No. It's just, actually, like no, I was gonna tilt the camera up. I don't want to mess with the camera and then have it be annoying to set back actually, like exactly how it was. I don't know, just now my room as it is has like a couple lights, and there's like a white light there. Initially when I was setting this up, I was gonna be further back. You may notice that when I'm further back, I actually have a light more, the way this light happens to be in the ceiling is more directly pointed at me, and the lighting is technically better, but then when I actually set up the desk, I wanted more actual desk room, but like, whatever, it's all stuff I'm still moving around, but like not super important. Like time I invested with like stuff like that is less time I'm putting into the actual like video itself. And everything beyond it. My eventual thing that I'm hoping to get back to sometime this century is my game that I was working on before called The Handyman with a Unicycle. I want to get back to the point where I'm full-time just working on that game, but there's just like a lot of little stuff on the way to doing that I'm like hesitant to add new things on the pile. And yeah, technically if I really wanted, I could stop working on this right now and start working on that game right this second, but I don't want to. I have other, like, there's stuff here that I also want to, that I'm working on that I want to get done, and yeah, just have more things that are completed and less unfinished projects. Because, anyways, where was I going with any of that? But yeah, so video, and there's more stuff that we're gonna, affiliate you with unfinished. Yeah, I am the king of unfinished projects. I have so many things that I've started and just haven't got around to finishing. But slowly, I'm knocking more things off that pile. I did, a couple of weeks ago when I started streaming again, Dave H, I don't remember the last stream that, like, you were in, and whether or not you saw this specifically, but this was my 9-day game challenge thing. I just made a game in 9 days that, like, the actual game, it's like this top-down thing. You're like a character moving on a grid and different obstacles and hazards, and you're basically just getting to a goal. Super simple, but just making a game. Yeah, I think I saw like 3 of those. Yeah. What lurked while working? That's fair, yeah. I can quickly just... technically, this Unity project, I actually duplicated the project that was the other game. Or, like... This project was duplicated because I'm going to be actually messing with some stuff with this for the sake of the tutorial. I need... For the video that I'm making, it's doubling as 2 things. It's both a tutorial and just showing off that, hey, by the way, here's a game I made. So I'm going to be getting some gameplay footage from this, but also some footage where I'm going to need to tear apart some stuff with the game to get some specific footage. So I duplicated the whole project so I could mess with it and not break the game for real. It is also on my list that, even though this is technically a finished thing, I could call this done if I really wanted to. There's lots of placeholder-y things and lots of ideas that we had that never fully made it in. So it is another thing on my list of things to eventually do is get back around to working on this game and just let this be a playground of trying to just, yeah, add in more polish, take what it is and just same gameplay, same basically everything, just make it look nicer. Like, these green things are meant to actually be springs. The red is meant to be fire. Just, yeah, polish and whatnot. But we'll see. That's also kind of lower on the priority list compared to other things that I want to be doing. But yeah, we'll get to all that eventually. But yeah, when this is what the game is. You see, I'm going through the first couple levels. So this is level 4. There are 18 levels. That happens to be matching golf, but I can pretend that was intentional. No. Ain't all the Unity drama. You may have covered that. It has, without fail, well, except yesterday, I think other than yesterday, it has almost without fail been brought up in basically every stream that I've done. Oh, why is my webcam lagging? That shouldn't be happening. This game is not a performance drain to be doing that. Is it because, it's probably because I have 3 Unity scenes all running. That would probably be doing that. Whoops. Yeah, I guess that was probably going on the whole time. Now it's better. The game looked a bit laggy. Oh, it was probably lagging both. Well, whoops. That's just symptom of... Yeah, the computer I have it should be really good. I think just, I mean, yeah, running 3 Unity projects is probably not the best for it. And also streaming. Streaming is going to be taking a decent chunk of that. So, whoops. Apologies. But it's the Unity stuff. So I basically don't have any opinions that are unique to what everyone else is saying, and that it's bad, it's really bad, and hoping that they undo their decision or just like do anything other than what they're currently doing, which is just silence. They it was like 2 days ago or something, they said something on Twitter. They basically said nothing. It's like, we're gonna say stuff soon, just you wait. I'm like, okay, still waiting. So yeah, it's yeah, not a fun situation to be in as a Unity developer. Now, I'm very, very small, infinitesimally small Unity guy that's like it'd be a million years before it'd be affecting me personally just with actually paying these runtime fees or whatever, but still, it's affecting, yeah, the engine that I use and the reputation that it has, and a lot of people jumping ship to other game engines, but I'm not doing that just yet. I like the idea of like just trying out other game engines, but I'm way too busy for that now, and I have a lot of like this ongoing projects in Unity that I don't want to go through all the work of switching over yet at this point in time. Maybe after I've finished a lot more of these projects I'm in the middle of, then I would consider that, maybe, but who knows. I agree, I have like 1,000 assets that I've no tried to convert to Godot or Unreal. Yeah. If I were to try out Godot versus Unreal, I'm more currently interested in trying out Godot, entirely because it can also do C#. I really like C# as a programming language, and Unreal don't have that. I know Unreal has C++, and it also has the blueprints thing, but that's not C#. No, yeah. The fact that Godot can, in theory, use the same game engine as Unity does strike my interest. I know Godot is apparently more for 2D stuff, but it's capable of doing 3D things. So like, yeah. That's why I was trying Godot. Yeah. So I might do the same at some point. Also, I currently, like, am trying to, like, the thing I'm in the middle of doing right now is making, I have no reason not to be making this full screen. I am actively working on making a tutorial for Unity, and when Unity isn't having the best reputation right now, that's kind of, a little unfortunate timing. That, like, after... How long has it been since my last actual proper tutorial? My last proper tutorial was the submarine one that I made. God, that was in like 2021. It was, wait, why am I still lagging? Excuse me? This should not be, what's going on? What is taking all of my performance? I have 3 Unity projects open, and like, I have Movavi open. Oh, I don't know, I'll close that, I guess. Yeah, no, I paid a lot for a very, very expensive computer. It should not be failing to do. How are you lagging worse now? Excuse me? Your blocks at the bottom are moving smooth. Yeah. Oh, wait, no, I remember this. Or I remember part of a thing. So, fun Unity bug, watch this. Lag? No lag. I remember this. I don't know why, but having, was it like having just the scene view and the game view being like different resolutions? I've had some experience of that causing weird issues, yeah. Because I'm on a 4K monitor, so, yeah, okay. Now no lag. Ooh, no reference exception? No, there's no errors in the console. Yeah, so, yeah, that's just Unity being Unity. I could, I'm on level 12. I have this as an actual build if I just launch the build. I always have just one. Yeah, there's always some weird Unity errors. Which, like, I've just come to be, like, used to that kind of with Unity. I don't know if other, like, Godot or Unreal are just a lot better with just less often just like, oh yeah, there's just random editor errors, don't worry about it. I don't know if Unreal or Godot are just cleaner in that way, but I mean, in the past I've done some like custom editor programming, so when you're doing that, it can be almost expected you're gonna have more issues, but yeah, anywho. Or a lot of you just, yeah, using Unity for like stuff that it's not really designed for or whatever, but you know. Anyways, so, well, I don't need to finish off playing through this, but I'm gonna while I'm just rambling anyway. What was I saying? Well, yeah. What was I saying? I lost track of whatever I was saying. Also, giant enemy, because that's cool. We wanted the final level of this to have a giant 5x5 enemy as kind of like a boss fight. In theory, if I go back to polishing this, that would be one of the things that we would potentially do. But, yeah, eventually. I'm not super, like, yeah, as I said, it's not super high on my priority list because I have other things I want to do. Oh, with the whole Unity problems. One thing that's, like, a problem with that is the fact that I make Unity tutorials, or I want to. I've made so few, especially lately, but, like, I wanted to be just regularly-ish making tutorials. But then also making them, like, visually look interesting, doing more stuff with that, which is what we're doing with this next video with this whole swinging monitors idea, just giving it a bit of unique flair or whatever. So yeah, I've debated whether I want to kind of, even if I finish the video, like, sort of wait on releasing it until more of the Unity backlash dies down, but I don't know. Before I even make that decision, I gotta at least finish the video. The video is still quite far from actually being done, so speaking a bit too soon on that. But yeah, I can only hope that Unity will go back on what they're doing, or change stuff, or whatever. But maybe get some new management involved. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what is necessarily going to happen or how that's all going to work out. But all I can do is cross my fingers and keep working on stuff in the meantime, because I still like making stuff, and yeah. And even though like if I could continue to make Unity tutorials, it's not like the worst thing ever. It's not like I'm not in support of Unity's decisions, even if I am making tutorials. And if I'm making tutorials, that's more for like, yeah, like I'm trying to, yeah, help people learn Unity, learn programming, learn game dev stuff. So I don't think that the motives don't change there. So I think it's fine. I missed a message. Oh, whoopsies. Oh, how did I miss so many messages? Whoops. Okay, my bad. I guarantee it was just a money tactic. Oh yeah, 100%. CEO sold his shares before announcing this, and now when they cancel the plans, people will buy, and the stock will go back up potentially. Although, so like, correct me if I'm wrong. I've heard the thing that like he stole a bunch of stock, but didn't people like pull out the numbers and it wasn't actually like that much that he sold? It was like 2,000 shares, which is a lot, but relative to a millionaire, it's like not that much or something. I could be completely mistaken. I'll read the rest of the messages. This specific level requires concentration, where I need to make a bunch of turns without messing up any of them. So I'll catch up on messages. Just gotta be good at my game for 2 seconds. And okay. I'm not sure about that. From what I understood, they were trying to tank the stock prices to be able to sell. So that is called fraud, and that is illegal if you do that and get caught doing it, and then blah blah blah. That'd be great if CEO, that I forget his name off the top of my head, went to jail for fraud and they got a new CEO, and then everything goes back to normal. Really, it's not just the CEO's fault. There's like other higher up executive people that are also part of the problem. But yeah, I don't know. It's all a big mess, and yeah, hope that things work out, but don't know for sure that they will. Apple is in the market. I'm not sure what that, I don't get the connection off the top of my head, but, like, have they also... yeah, I haven't heard anything with, relating this Unity situation to Apple lately. I haven't, like, I've been keeping up with stuff, kind of, but I haven't been reading every last little thing. I guess I know that Unity's huge in the mobile department. Like, I know that that's a thing, but, Apple wants to get more into the game market and looking for an engine. Oh, so, like, yeah, well, yeah, oh, also, beat the game. Woo, that was the last level. Yeah, so they're probably not going to be choosing Unity then, even though Unity is, like, the mobile game engine. Maybe not anymore. But, that almost comes with a good and a bad. It's like, less things with microtransactions out there. Oh, yeah. No, like, because Unity's used to make things that aren't mobile games. It's just that, it's good for making mobile games, so that's what, a lot of, like, it's so well known for mobile games, because that's what a lot of people use it for, but it, like, so then it kind of gets a bad rep for, oh, you just make, like, little, you know, mobile games that aren't very good, and blah blah blah. Unity's not a good engine, it doesn't make good games, blah blah blah. When it does, there's a lot of great examples of games made in Unity, but then a lot of them just don't have the made with Unity stuff attached, because when you're using the free version of Unity, you have the made with Unity splash screen. So yeah, whole thing. Apparently, Apple, iPhone 15 has RTX. Cool. Okay, that's neat. Yeah. So if I want to polish the heck out of this game, when does this game get RTX? That's the performance, the graphics enhancements that this thing needs. Just wait till you see the reflections off these eyeballs here. Whoa, insane, crazy. Yeah, when do we get the AR port of this game? No. One thing I actually do want to do as a test, use this game as a testing ground for, is, oh, Lightning Stripes. Oh, hello. I'll catch up with messages in a second, just finishing my sentence. That I've now forgotten. Oh no, I wanted to use this game as a guinea pig for that. I've never done Steam achievements before. I know conceptually how I would just do in-game achievements, and that doesn't seem like the hardest thing in the world depending on the achievement, but making a sort of in-game achievement tracker is something that I feel like I'm capable of doing, again, depending on an achievement by achievement basis. But how that integrates with when you actually have a Steam game with Steam achievements, I'd be curious to, like, once I put more polish into this game, actually putting it on Steam and then like learning how to do Steam achievements, just using this game as the guinea pig for that to then apply that for my more real games like the Handyman with a Unicycle. Don't mind me stuttering through the title. Also Apple glasses. Oh, those are gonna potentially be doing like they might be making game-esque things with that. That's cool. Their AR stuff, headset thing. Yeah, yes, Unity is a big area in like VR AR stuff. I technically made a VR game for a school project. Those people who've been in the stream for a while may remember that. It was what do we even call? I forget the name we went with. It was a school project, so like it wasn't even like fully finished. It was like more of a prototype thing. There was like a little raccoon guy. It was basically a garbage sorting game. To like teach people how to sort like garbage and recycling and all that, and stuff came by on a conveyor belt and whatnot. And there was like a raccoon guy that like, it was very like prototypey, so it didn't like go the full mile with all that stuff. But it turned out nicely enough, I guess. Did good as far as like actually got 100% on like what that was for the actual school project thing. So that went well. Hold on. My cat is meowing in the distance. I'm gonna 1 second. Give me 2 seconds. And I'm back. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, not to de-dox myself, but that was but my cat basically got stuck. Hold on. Microphone outside of the webcam. So okay, I'm in a basement and I have a door at the top of the stairs. Cat was meowing at door trying to get out, but door was closed, so cat could not get out. All's good. Where was I? Let me catch up on messages. Also, Apple glasses, Pokemon Go, Genshin Impact. Yep, those being Unity games and all that. Super Mario Run is a Nintendo game we made in Unity. I know Disney made an animated short called like Baymax's Dream or whatever, like from like Big Hero 6. I haven't seen the actual animation, but I'm familiar with the character. I've seen Big Hero 6. I haven't seen this little animated short or whatever they made. But apparently that was rendered in Unity, which is cool conceptually. But yeah, so a lot of people use Unity for things. And it's used in a lot of industries outside of just game dev stuff. I know it's used in like the automotive industry and like interior design stuff and blah, blah, blah. Actually, literally, so, no, before I go further, let me just catch up on messages and then ramble. Should be easy. Yeah, that's a good idea. I remember. That's from me talking about the stream achievement stuff. Steam achievement stuff, yeah. I assume it's probably not that hard. I'm assuming I can find the tutorials to figure out that kind of stuff. I just have never, like, it's just a thing that I've never done, and so I want to do it just because. And especially, it'd be good to learn on a small scale with this game, where it's just like, one achievement that you beat the game. Then I know how to do it to then, ideally in the Handman with Unicycle, is like a full, like it has you know, a bunch of achievements for things, but using this as the guinea pig, small scale thing. Well, this is still technically a game or whatever. My latest achievement is my, or a little casual brag. What did I brag about? Something. My VR game or something. Oh, how it did good school project. Yeah. Hit the raccoon. Yep, I do. Yeah, the raccoon. We did apply physics to it at one point, and I was able to like juggle it with VR hands. Yeah, I remember that. That went well. I don't plan to return to like that project necessarily. There were some school projects that I did that I want to return to at some point. Ultra Tag being the biggest one, and making it more than just a tag game, which also means I'll rename it at some point. I just haven't been able to think of a better name, or like an actual good name. And the Handyman with the Unicycle is almost the biggest thing because that started as a school project. I was working on a completely different game that the name of that changed. It was called An Abstract Adventure, and then the game concept changed. That name didn't really work anymore, so then it was called Tears in Duality. But those two game ideas are so different that they could be two completely different games, like, on their own. So both of those things I might make at some point. But I did a whole bunch of rambling about why I'm not working on those two anymore and why I instead want to be doing Handyman with the Unicycle and stuff like that more. But eventually, at like the tail end of my to-do list, working on like that game again could be a thing. But my latest achievement is my slope/stairs finally work in my game. Cool, love to see things working. And he's like, I made a VR game in school, no big deal. Okay, so like I'm hyping it up more than like it's not actually like it wasn't even a finished game. Like really, don't think it was some super amazing thing. Like the last streams that I were doing, the last two streams I did were kind of like in terms of what we were trying to do, a bit failures. We're like, so we have this. So the last stream I was doing was just for fun, making this catapult. The stream before that was trying to make this like procedurally animated, like this thing that's like dragging itself across the floor because it's just something I wanted. I don't know. I was like, I had the idea. I was like, let's see if I can do that. As you can see, it's not quite working so well. This catapult is kind of working only because before it had these like stoppers. If I actually real quick, I can recreate the doom of why this thing. So in the last stream when I was making this, there wasn't really many people there. Now, while there's people I can ask people who know stuff about Unity that I can ask questions to. Maybe you can answer stuff. Don't you dare tell me that the problems from yesterday are not gonna happen now. Don't you dare. So trying to have like a stopper thing. All day we were dealing with problems with it just clipping through, and well, it's because it's going slow now. That's part of why. Before it was going a lot faster. I wanted to launch with a quick like actually be very hefty. Aha! See that? You see that? You see how it clipped through the cube? And it's like, how can I have that not happen, or at least happen less? And part of that is like it increase the physics time step. Instead of being 50 frames per second, be more than that. Do stuff with like physically having the thing move slower and like blah 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 potential like things, but still like with stuff that more softened the problem than actually fixing it. Hold on, let me catch up with them. I've been doing Unreal tutorials, very cool. Can't stick with Unity after this tutorial. Yeah, it does suck what they're doing and all that. Unfortunately, I have some, like, I'm roped to Unity that, like, I have stuff that I want to be doing in Unity. I have so, like, beyond, this is just the cool stuff I'm doing with streams. I have a full-time job where I'm working with the company doing stuff in Unity that's, like, not a video game. It's, like, a tool and blah, blah, blah. So because of like that, I'm very tied to Unity, but because of like our stuff, I don't think we're going to be affected as much as like the whole game dev industry is with this stuff and like whatever. So I have more reasons that I'm shackled to Unity, and I would prefer the scenario where Unity doesn't do everything that they're doing and they, you know, get back some of their dignity and like, it's a whole, yeah. I was kidding. Nice to, yeah, no, like, yeah, like, I'm trying to anti-brag with a, like, the, like, VR thing that I did, like, yeah, I don't know. Or even, like, other, like, I have so many unfinished projects of just random things that I've done, and, yeah, hoping to slowly finishing things, as we get to doing such things. You do awesome physics things? Yeah, physics stuff is just cool. Okay. I respond to one message, and by the time I finished it, there's like 8 more messages. Let me just read every message and then do the rambling. What is the mass of the cube? Yeah, the mass. I hope Unity just figures it out. We get to hear their walk back at the end of the week from what they are hinting at. I hope so. I mean, like, it's bad, but that is the best case scenario, is that they're like, oops, we messed up, and we're gonna just not do this. Or, like, it'll probably be they'll apply it differently, but, like, I don't know, it's still... part of the internet is loving having a villain. The CEO is a perfect target. Yeah, but apparently part of the problem isn't just like the CEO is really bad, but there's like other executives that also like it's a lot of conglomerate bad or whatever. But like I've been seeing like a lot of things, but I haven't been keeping up with it like every single little thing that's been coming out with it, or a bunch of stuff that I've read but I've just like forgotten by now. Because I've also just been super busy with other things going on in general. So, yeah. Anyway, so massive things. People are curious. Let me just... Remember how the title of this stream is that I'm editing a video. We haven't even started that yet. And judging by the time, I might not even get to that because today needs to be a short stream because I got to be up early tomorrow. But, like, this is so far a much superior stream than... Or, hold on, let me answer. Someone asked... So, Cube doesn't have any sort of scale. The catapult itself just has a mass of 1. The cubes there, I think they all have masses of like 0.1, so it's like nothing crazy. However, we did discover the things that just messing with the center of mass of the thing. So if I right now, let me wait for it to retreat. 1 sec. If I let it be on automatic center of mass, it tended to just have do a better job at okay, when it actually swings. Because now it's just going off of, it's basically swinging off a different axis, like whatever. Why did that? But changing the center of mass tended to just cause more issues with it just being wonkier for some reason that I don't fully know why, other than just, I assume it's just more complicated physics calculations or whatever. Or they were like, we'll give them a horrible thing, then we'll, and then we hit them with our real plan and we'll welcome with open arms. Yeah, I hear a lot of people saying that, but like, I don't know if with just how incompetent it's kind of seemed like the decisions that they're making. It almost, like, I don't know if I believe them to be competent enough to have had that plan from the get-go, especially with like some of the PR messages, like, oh, we're sorry for all the confusion and angst. We're sorry that you guys had a problem with what we were doing. Like, that sounds like they thought it was totally fine and are shocked that it wasn't fine kind of a response. That doesn't sound like they knew it would be bad and they knew they would backtrack on it response. But what do I know? I don't know. So it's hard to like, there's some degree that like, yeah, when stuff like this happens, you can retroactively look at like, oh, they knew that this response would happen, they knew they would backtrack on it, which is like, to some degree it's plausible, but like, is that giving too much credit to them? I don't know. Like, when you have stuff like, as an example, the Sonic movie, the first, like the live action Sonic movie, how the CGI that like was terrible and everyone hated it, and then they backtracked and they're like, okay, we made it good now. Some people theorize like, oh, they did that on purpose as like a marketing thing. But the animation company that did that went out of business, so I don't think it was a marketing thing if they had those kind of, like, that level of repercussions. And I, like, it can be similar to that, where there can be some degree of, like, because thing happened and then led to thing, like, thing A happened and it led to thing B, like, was it the intention for thing B to happen? Like, did they have that all mapped out as gonna happen? It's like, they could have not, like, I don't know. Hold on, catching up on, we're sorry you guys didn't understand. It should be obvious. Yeah, like, there's also that, like, yeah, the person who writes whatever the tweet is that is, like, the statement going out, like, is probably, like, a different person than, like, the CEO themselves, like, saying those words or whatever. Like, there'd be some communication where, like, I thought that using the word angst would be fine. But no, I don't know. It's a whole mess any way you look at it. Just hoping that it becomes slightly less of a mess, like 2% less. Sonic movies are great. Yeah. No, it wasn't a marketing thing, but some people thought it might have been, which, like, at the time, it's like, oh, maybe it could have been. But I'm more thinking that it wasn't, because of especially the animation company or whatever that went out of business because of it. So they love their fans, so they listen. It is cool when that kind of thing happens, when big developers actually listen and do things that people are happy with. Remember when video games used to be good and not come out as buggy messes that are half finished? Wow. Like, I currently have zero plans for the Handyman with the Unicycle to have DLCs or like whatever. Ideally, it comes out as one complete finished package. But just wait until it has all the microtransactions and the cosmetics and changing the skin of your character. Want a blue unicycle? Here you go. Here to give me $5. No. Never in a million years. No. Wait, there's no cosmetics. So, like, okay, I mean, if I hypothetically did that kind of thing, it would be it's in the game by default and you're not paying for it. It's unlockables or whatever. But so realistically, well, conceptually that would be cool to have. Me as a one-person game dev person who's not particularly amazing at doing 3D modeling and whatnot, the time investment to make a bunch of cosmetics is just like, I don't think I can put in that time to do that relative to the everything else that I want to do with that game, like focusing more on the gameplay and the levels and the whatever. Boycott Unicycle, no. No. I don't even know what the main character's fully gonna look like yet. I have, like, conceptual ideas. It's just hard to, like, decide on stuff concrete. Especially because, like the main character is, like, the most important character that needs to be the most, like, you know, it's like a, you know, well-designed or whatever. I have rough ideas. That's the thing. With a lot of stuff that I plan, I have all these rough ideas. It's just really hard for me personally to take all these rough ideas and turn them into exact, concrete, like, actually settling on something. It's like, okay, here's what we're doing specifically. But I'm getting there. I've said this before, the whole big game that the Handyman with Unicycle is a thing. I'm currently also planning a demo, like a bite-sized demo of the game is going to be a thing. That's going to be, like, as demos are. Like, I didn't need that big spiel to say I'm just making a demo. That's all I needed to say. I'm making a demo. But part of that demo is, like, so it's going to be 3 levels. Last time we were working on it, we were in the middle of designing and about to start actually prototyping test level 2. I just wanted to start with the second one because of reasons. But in the demo, there's currently plans for 5 humanoid characters, 5 characters that I need to make that are people. So the main character, the main person you play as, the Handy Harold Henderson, the mechanic on, like the handyman on a unicycle. There's Peter Avion, whose name might change maybe, but for now it's Mr. Avion. I guess, like, there's something where it's like, I don't know, there's characters that like to have like their nicknames of what they're called, and then there's their actual names. So there's Handy Henderson, Handy Harold, Mr. Avion. Oh no, I'm forgetting names of other. So like the main business guy, like the guy who owns the whole carnival thing. There was gonna be this like demolition expert person, like, yeah, explosions and all that. What was their name? Like Looney Junie or something. It's something that like kind of rhymed. But that was a nickname, and the actual name was something different. Whatever, I have it written down. There was gonna be a pirate character who wasn't actually a pirate. He's just dressed like a pirate, and there's gonna be a joke that he was born in Sealand or something, because that's a country. And like, before he was gonna be called Captain Gunderson, and he was gonna be obsessed with guns. But then I kind of changed that. I'm like, rather than having guns be his thing, let's not do that. And instead I wanted to have a pirate name that was made up of just a completely normal sounding name. So his name was gonna be like Captain Frank McSteve or something stupid that will, anything I say now will probably change when we actually make it. But in the game, there's gonna be a lot of cases where I need like a character to operate a vehicle. Like, you're in a blimp, someone's driving the blimp. You're in a submarine, someone's driving the submarine. You're on a boat, a plane, like whatever. Somebody to be driving the thing, and it was gonna always be this one pirate guy. Just because. And then a villain. I need, like, so the game's gonna have a bunch of villain characters at just different bosses. The demo will, in theory, have at least one of them, but I don't even have a name for this character. I just have some conceptual ideas. But, like, if there might be some kind of boss fight involved, I kind of want to wait until I, like, design the boss fight and then retroactively design the character to fit what the boss fight is. So I have, like, 5th character that's not fully designed, but almost on purpose, because, like, I'm waiting on more gameplay stuff to design them. But the main villains of this game are going to be this sort of, like, these government people that are, like, so you're running this super unsafe carnival, and so there's these, like, this sort of safety corporation that's trying to get you shut down and whatnot. But then, like, they kind of started as being, like, you're super unsafe, blah 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 reasons, legal stuff, trying to shut you down. But then they kind of become more evil and start to try to like intentionally sabotage your carnival so that stuff breaks, so that they can then sue you and run you out of business and doing stuff that's all shady and like underhanded and like whatever. And then they become a lot of the bosses and whatnot. So yeah, but then a lot of them are gonna be like carnival-y themed, like having, I don't know, like a person, like different roles that you'd see as like carnival things, like the magician, like as like a boss, and this like a person who's like tames animals and like having that be a boss. Have like I don't there's different like carnival-y things. I have like a bunch of potential ideas written down, but it's a lot that I'm like, so I haven't been working on that game in quite a while. There's a lot that I'm like foggy on, but I know as soon as I start working on a game, like a lot of my ideas will come flooding back to me. But yeah. Man, that tag game you were making is really cool. That is a whole other game that I was making that I want to work on at some point. And I kind of want to work on both those games together and then like reuse some assets between them. Let like the graphical art style be consistent, but then have them both be cool if they had some background references to each other. Like in the tag game, you're in like an arena and there can be like, oh, in the background there's a billboard that's advertising like the carnival and stuff like that, and then something equivalent in the carnival game. The game sounds like a fever dream. I love it. Yeah, I love it too. It's great. There's like, I've only scratched the surface of like, so part of the gameplay is like, you're a unicycle guy, like you're a guy on a unicycle who's riding around to different carnival rides and having to fix them before they break in this whole like environment, in whatever the level is. But then lots of hazards and obstacles, like leaning into the fact that the place is super unsafe, and so there's just all this, stuff exploding and like, just hazards and obstacles that you're trying to dodge as you're going between fixing stuff. If like things that are breaking will have this sort of going down health bar circle. If it completely runs out, then the thing like fully breaks and you get a strike. If you get 3 strikes, then you lose. There's gonna also be levels that have different objectives that still play into the repairing stuff theme, but not always just being repairing circus rides, such as a level of the demo is gonna be you're on a submarine, and then there's going to be, like, leaks in the submarine that you got to repair to have the submarine not, like, explode or whatever. So, same gameplay, but different, like, takes on it to, like, just have that variety. Some levels will be a bit different, and, like the very first level of the game, I imagine, will be, like, just as you're going through the tutorial stuff, it's more of a get from the beginning to the end. So, the occasional level is just a get to the goal kind of a thing. There's going to be variety, and then some levels will have, like, more than one objective. Like, repair this thing while also doing this other thing. I want a level that's a heist. I'm still working out exactly how I want it to be as far as the story is concerned. I have more story stuff. I have a lot more stuff planned that I just haven't said yet. But, like, I want a level that's a heist where somehow in the mess of all this carnival repairing stuff, you're having to break into, like, somewhere and steal something. So that's a whole thing. I want the setting of the game to be mildly futuristic. Not, like, necessarily full-on sci-fi, but if you imagined, like, 30 years in the future kind of thing or something like that. More to justify gameplay mechanics of just, hey, yeah, there's moving platforms. Yeah, there's, like, whatever gadgets I need for the sake of gameplay. Like, I have, like, you don't take fall damage. I'm gonna say that's just part of the way that the unicycle is designed and, like, whatever. Yeah. Also, the villain is on like a tricycle looking down on monowheel riders. Oh, it should be your insurance company. Haha. And it almost is. It was this government agency that's like the Safety Corp, like entertainment division or whatever. Safety Corp was an acronym. It stood for something. I don't remember the acronym now, but I know I have it written down. But it's like, I don't even remember any of the letters, but it was an acronym for something. So it is this, so is it OSHA? Pretty much, but with, I guess, yeah. But on one hand, it's like a government agency, but I don't just want government people. I want, like, oh, let them be crazy and, like, whatever the boss fights themselves need so they can have all different designs. I don't even know how many there's going to be. Like, I haven't fully designed the individual characters of this organization because I'm saving that for when I design, like, the bosses. Like, ideally, each member of this council, effectively, like, is gonna be a boss. So I'm waiting to decide how many bosses there even is, design the boss and the mechanics, and then turn it into what character will that look like. Yeah. So that's a thing. OSHA with Wile E. Coyote's credit card? Exactly, yeah. I wanted to have one idea I had was one level where, so if you, as like the game plays, you're going around fixing rides before they break, having like a robot, either a robot or like just another handyman, like an actual human, like another handyman that you're like competing against, and it's like whoever repairs the most rides by the end of the day gets to keep their job essentially. So like you are riding around fixing stuff, but then you basically are trying to deal with another person who's also riding around fixing stuff. Would be interesting. But an interesting twist on it as well would be that if anything fully breaks, you both get a strike. So you have to repair more stuff than them and repair things before they do. But even though you're trying to slow them down, they're trying to slow down you or whatever, you still can't let a thing fully break or it hurts both of you. And like that's an idea of something I want to play around with. And that could be potentially a boss to some degree. And just more stuff like that. I have a whole bunch of other potential ideas for environments. Like, as well, like, it's a traveling carnival that, like, every single day they open up in a new location, what just justifies all the levels. And, it, like, ideally taking it as wacky as possible. Basically, any environment you can think of, there could be a level there. You know, inside a submarine, in, like, a frozen tundra, in the middle of a muddy, like, swampy, like, forest, in a desert, in a, like skyscrapers, in like an office building, in like an area with lots of cliffs and stuff, underground, like blah blah blah. I have a whole list of potential ideas for levels and blah blah blah. So yeah, ideas. I have ideas, but the problem is I can come up with ideas faster than I can actually build them. And I have a lot of general ideas, but turning them into actual specific ideas is a whole other question. But I do have more stuff than I've said. But and then there's also the tag game. Someone else brought up the tag game. It started as a school project. That the school project was literally to just make a tag game, make a game where you're doing tag, and like that was the school project. I kind of took it overboard with what I actually made for it, and like that went well. But that's a whole other thing I want to keep working on. Make it more than a tag game with sort of some of the mechanics that we started to make up. Where basically you're in an arena and you have people chasing other people, but I can make more game modes out of that are more than just tag. Like even having like 5 people versus 5 other people, you have the characters that are considered it and the characters that are considered not it. The whole aesthetics of the game was that it was going to be like spies and like you know, secret agent type people and like cartoon villains going at it, and yeah, doing stuff with that. And like you'd go into a map with like a loadout of like 2 weapons, one that's more offensive, one that's more defensive, to like, oh, you're chasing someone, you throw a thing at them and it slows them down, or you're running away, you throw slime on the floor and it like slows down someone chasing you, stuff like that. Other things I wanted to plan for. That game was more smaller scoped a little bit, but so also that idea sounds like it could be like a multiplayer arena thing, or like Fall Guys or similar to it or whatever. While I could, in theory, have that game build in some kind of like a multiplayer mode, like online multiplayer or whatever, I wanted to try and design that as a single-player experience where you're going from level to level across these different arenas, dealing with different villains and having an actual, you know, game with good gameplay where you're fighting AIs, NPCs, whatever you want to call it in that context. But then in theory, like actually going through a story, going through these different arenas and unlocking stuff, and things get harder and harder. But then if I do all that, then in theory I would then also put in a multiplayer mode on top of that. I've never done like online multiplayer as well, so that another incentive I have to work on that game again is to have like let that be a guinea pig area to learn how to properly do online multiplayer and all that kind of stuff. So but ideally at some point I'd potentially be working on those games back to back. In theory, eventually. I still gotta, you know, actually get to that point. I'm not working on either of them right now. I still have other things on my plate beforehand. Like that this video was supposed to be, or this stream was supposed to be working on videos things, and I totally could have been doing that the whole time while I've been rambling. But still, it's cool to, well, just, I enjoy, even like, all this stuff that I'm thinking about, however much of it might actually turn into stuff or not, or if I start other projects or whatever, it's just fun to plan stuff. It's fun to just come up with these crazy ideas, whether they turn out or not. It's just something I enjoy doing and therefore will continue doing. Like I have so many more game ideas past just those. Like I have a whole, like I have dozens and dozens of potential games that I'd like to make someday. This is just like scratching the surface. like a couple years ago, I worked some like factory jobs, you know, saving up for university and all that. Very boring, very not fun, but it's a great time to just you're doing mindless work. Good time to just come up with random game ideas. So I did this whole thing where I just have like a dozen different game ideas of like, different gameplay, different stories, like whatever. But then the main thing is that similar to the MCU Marvel stuff, I basically designed very loosely, very roughly, but like this like universe of here's all these games that take place in the same universe in like different areas, different like characters, blah blah blah, but it's this like single overarching story, and it's a whole thing that I haven't actually slotted the Handyman with a Unicycle or Ultra Tag into that timeline, but like I'm working on one where exactly that they fit. Most of it revolves around this massive like alien invasion thing. But anyways, before I get too deep into the cringe of explaining ideas that sound better in my head, but I'm really bad at explaining ideas, and thus there's no way I can do my ideas justice and like actually explain them. At some point, some of that stuff might you know, if I finish all these things, then you know, I'm basically what I'm saying is I'm never gonna run out of stuff to work on. I'll always have something to work on. It's just then more a matter of my skill to actually make the things. Because as much as I want to make games with the graphics of Disney movies or like Into the Spider-Verse and all that, I have to understand I'm just one person who only has a couple hours a day to be really working on a lot of this stuff, and yeah, have to tone down my own expectations just for what I can actually reasonably, feasibly actually make in a reasonable time frame. But yeah, anywho, so where was I with it? So like this Unity scene that we're in right now is nothing with what I was actually intending to be doing. I can continue to ramble, but I might as well, like, the next thing that I'm doing here is just some tedious work that I wanted to be doing, so I might as well do that while I'm rambling. Okay, so we have, the next thing I just want to do was that we have all these video clips. These are the different clips of the video, and step one is I just need to cut down, like, cut a little bit at the beginning, cut a little bit at the end of every single one of these. You'll see that these are labeled, like, 1-game, 2-face, like, 7-code. That's just my own inner workings of, like, how these are going to be used. I have a whole, script written up, which I'm also not great at writing scripts. One thing I'm looking forward to is that, so, like, I don't think this video will be a amazing 10 out of 10 video. It's a little bit just a guinea pig to test out this idea with the swinging monitors and whatnot, and then ideally, like, we see what works and what doesn't with this video, and then make the next one a lot better and then do a lot more with it. I'm purposely constraining some of the stuff I want to do on this video, and, like, just so it doesn't take a million years, like, do what I want to do with this video, and then do more for the next one, like, continue to evolve this idea with each next one that I make. But I have 10 currently planned, and then I probably won't be making tutorials for a bit because I want to make some like rendered in Unity animated shorts to just practice getting better at it being like cutscene practice. So just making some cool, visually cool looking Unity stuff as practice with doing that. And that's going to be kind of on the road to getting back to working on the Handyman with the Unicycle. As part of that, we'll be potentially having a large amount of overlap of making assets that'll be used in both things and whatnot, but yeah, it's a process, but I have a bit of a roadmap of kind of the next couple things I'm going to be making. Anyway, so this is the script, and it has a legend because it does. Yeah, anyway, so, but, anyways, more for me, just like how I'm going to be using a lot of this footage, but yeah, these numbers, and, well, the numbers are just the order of them, but the face code Unity is stuff for just how I'm going to be using them. All the face ones, these are going to be the easiest, because these are the shots that it's just live action me talking to the camera, and I just need to cut a little bit at the beginning, cut a little bit at the end. All of these other ones, which are easy to tell apart because they're the ones where I'm not wearing the lab coat, are, I'm only going to be using the audio of these, and there's going to be footage on top, but I still need to cut out the audio at the beginning and ends of these. Technically, this clip, because it's just my intro animation, is done, because I did go and, I do a thing where each intro and outro that I do, like, for the next video I make, I modify this intro slightly, where this intro animation that I have, which this person, in motion, does not look good, but, like, here, this looks totally fine, but, like, from the side, doesn't look great. It's also on my to-do list to eventually remake this guy, make a version 2, but, yeah, anyways, I remake this animation where, like, whatever the thing is for the next video, the next tutorial, I have in this main capsule, and then everything else gets shuffled down one. So each of these objects are stuff from my, just some different past videos. Yeah, so which means I had to, for this one, I remade another one, which is more work. I understand that I put more work on myself to have to do this every time, but it's cool. I don't know, it doesn't take that long. The longest part is just waiting for it to re-render, which I can be doing other stuff while I'm doing that. And then I have the outro where you come on and then everything gets pushed down and that looks all cool. At some point, I also want to make a new of this intro-outro thing, like completely different, make it the same general concept, but kind of executed differently. That's a whole other thing for eventually, for not now, not anywhere near now. I'm thinking that it'll be like these next 10 videos, these 10 tutorials I'm making, are all gonna have this same intro and outro things being pushed down. But then, like, the thing I make after that, once I transition to these, like, animated shorts, then maybe at that point I make a new intro and outro as themselves being a little animated short thing. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. What I would like, the main thing, the main number one reason of why I want to do that in the first place is, one, I just have problems with, like, there's some things I don't quite like about this. It looks fine for my skill level, but, this is rendered in Blender. I want to practice making visually good-looking stuff that's rendered in Unity as practice for doing that kind of stuff for actual, like, gameplay. So I want to make an intro and an outro that are actually rendered in Unity, but still look visually very good, hopefully. So we'll see how that goes. But a lot of this stuff won't quite easily translate to Unity, so if I'm going to be porting all this over to Unity anyway, that's a good time to just make something new. Anywho. So yeah, anyways. That being said, so what am I actually, what am I doing specifically? So I have this. My method of how I'm going to be cutting these down is just, Movavi, which is an editing program like Visual Studios, but like Adobe Premiere is what I meant to say, but it's not that. I used to use Movavi back in the day. I don't know, like, what video I started or stopped using it, but, I used Movavi at one point, and then I started using Adobe Premiere. It might have actually have been the submarine video where I started using Premiere. No, maybe slightly before that? I don't know. Whatever. Then I started using Adobe Premiere, because that's what all the professionals use. But Adobe Premiere kind of sucks, and I don't like it as much. So I'm trying, for the first time since my last video, to try using Movavi instead of Premiere and seeing if I like it better. Especially with how I'm doing this video, I don't need to do any, like, super heavy editing. In fact, because of the way this whole clip situation works, rather than it being one big video project, I need to basically edit each of these individual clips as, like, their own Movavi projects to just take this clip, cut, blah. But I want to still have the original clip and the edited cut down clip just so, you know, I can go back, I guess. Not permanent loss. Anyway, so I just need to find Unity projects. This is the yeah. So I did start this process where I copied. So in theory, this right here is going to eventually be where all, like, the finalized clips are going, because it's all already set up in the Unity thing. Once I have, like, the final proper clip, I can just replace these files, and then everything will be all good. I don't have to re-replace anything, so that'll be good. Yeah, so I just have them copied out here. These will be, like, the originals. Yeah. So now, like, unfortunately, I gotta, like, do some tedious work that is, this. So, I haven't fully decided how I best want to organize this, but for example, this clip, it's just gonna be, it's actually, like, as just a starting step, I just want to cut out, like, very roughly the beginning and the ends. I don't need this to all be, like, perfectly exact right now, because also once I do this, then I'll have a better idea on the actual full length of the video. Yeah, no, I think I blundered at the beginning of. I also like Movavi because in my experience, I believe Movavi stuff has tended to, like, render faster, so that's cool. Doesn't help that the background music is playing. Can I? There's no easy way for me to have the background, like, random video game music playlist to play for the stream, but not for me. That'd be cool, but nah, I don't think so. So I'm gonna have to stop it for now.
There are a lot of things that move video games and
There's also a chance, some of the, like, a lot of these were, like, first take where I actually said all the lines without messing up. I might have to re-record some of these, but I wanted to just, like, okay, I said the line, it, like, works good enough, let me put it in the actual Unity thing with the footage, and then see how it's looking, and then I can decide if I want to re-record any of these things. So, yeah, take a lot of this with a grain of salt.
There are a lot of things that move in video games, and lots of those moving things need animation.
Also, just ignore all of... Because I'm just directly reading a script because, again, not using the footage. And if I'm not using the footage, I should probably put in something temporary to make that clear. Do I have anything that's going to work for that on hand? Not really. I don't have... A lot of... Like, this clip specifically is going to be just gameplay footage of me playing the No Time to Think, the, like, grid game from the beginning. Do I have anything quick I can use? Even just an image? Or even if I, like, temporarily Google, no... What can I use? I'm thinking of, like, there's some quick image I can use to just put over top of this to make it clear to me that, like, this is temporary, that there's no visuals yet, but it's just... I mean, it could just be a black screen. I can't delete that, but I mean, I don't need the... How do you... So split. I also... No, not that kind of split. I've also haven't used Movavi in quite a long time. So I'm also... You're gonna live see me having to remember how to actually do a lot of stuff. How do you separate... Can you separate an audio track from a video? Surely that's a thing. If it's hypothetically not, I can just add a new layer on top, but... See, this was my worry of doing this on stream. Originally, I was going to be doing this not on stream, but then I just... Like, right now, I was going to be working on this anyway, so I'm like, either I do it not streaming it, or I just stream it, and, like, whatever. It doesn't make that much of a difference. How do I have your... okay, Movavi. I'm also Googling stuff on secondary screen because... I don't want to dox my address and all that fun stuff. Because Google does a fun thing that at the bottom of Google results, it just shows your postal code, so that's fun. And I haven't found an easy way to have it not do that other than having a VPN or whatever, but I don't need to go that far with that right now. Split. Okay, split video and audio. One problem with... I think Movavi's less popular than Premiere, so there's less likely to be tutorials and stuff. How do you... Oh, you can just drag it. Here I am expecting buttons. Oh. Well, almost. Can I, if I do this, we'll... Oh, no, oh, right, I forgot that Movavi did this. An audio clip has to be sort of like anchored to some kind of video. So even though these aren't anchored anymore, if I delete this because the audio isn't anchored to anything, it just kind of doesn't. I do remember that and thinking that was weird. So Movavi isn't going to be perfect. And, let me just go through these. Let's just, because I haven't, I guess I've, oh, this is my first time using Movavi on my new computer. So that's why it's going to try and give me tutorial stuff again. It seems like I need it because I don't quite, a lot of stuff I'm just misremembering. But okay, what can I use? This is super not important, but what can I use as like a no media image? Just something real quick I can just, ideally something 16 by 9, otherwise it's gonna stretch, but I guess that doesn't matter that much. How about a loading? So just a quick loading bar. That'd be kind of funny. You should find one that's not. Find one that's not like. What word am I trying to say? Find one that doesn't have like the stock like things. Watermark. That's the word I was going for. Okay, geez. Save image. We're gonna save it over. Let me actually save this project because it's gonna need to be saved somewhere. Hold on. I just need to find where I'm actually saving this. Over in the. Bring this over here. Like, ooh, the other files on my desktop. Wow. Crazy stuff. Okay, so edited clips. I just want to go here to just copy this directory because it's just easier. This is the thing for the project. We're gonna call this 1 dash. I need the. I want to call it based on. Let's call it clip 1. Yeah, sure, whatever. And then the this here is like same thing. What am I calling you? Just like loading, just like no temp, no visuals. That is a bad, terrible name. Temp video image. I don't know. Whatever. It's fine. Add in you. I'm fine with that being on the base level because I'm gonna in theory use this random thing with all of these. Why is the video not? How do you do snapping again? Oh no, I'm so rusty with this. And yeah, I guess there are going to be some cases where Premiere is better, but this will be faster overall once I get the hang of it, I believe. Okay, let's just have that as like as a test example thing. I'm going to leave even all this on just default everything just because. Don't save to here. You're going to I want the file name to be the same as Right. I want this to be the file name of the end thing. Do I want to go through all these and just go dash audio? Fine. Real quick. Not the ones on dash face. Well, or dash raw, dash unedited, or that unedited. Yeah, it covers more stuff with that word. Covers more meaning. So let me just, okay, real quick. Well, enjoy. So actually, the intro and the outro, because those are just my animations that I already rendered out. Like those are special cases where they're already done. But yeah, enjoy. This is the stream because stuff I need to do, stuff I need to get done, and sometimes requires tedious work. And it's either I'm streaming this or I'm not, or I wouldn't be streaming tonight at all. And I'm trying to be streaming more regularly. So yeah, here we are. But in theory, with stuff like this, as I get more of the hang of it, it'll be faster. 1, 2. As I make more of these, I'll get more just the hang of what like the more consistent with like right now. I'm still figuring out like how I want to just be organizing some of these files. Once I have more of a format, then it'll be faster and less of me flailing. Oh, hold on. I still wanted the actual name of this to be this. No. So then there's also the question of right now I'm dumping all this in like one big folder. Will I want to actually have like subfolders for all of these? That's gonna be so tedious to make 18 folders and then putting all this stuff in there. Well, I'll put that on highest, sure. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, frame rate I will want to be 60. Yes. Everything else is fine. The only... is there not a... Yeah, whatever, it's pretty fine. Whatever. So, okay, how long will this 5-second clip take to export? I was hoping you'd be instant. I'm going to imagine that there's some small amount of performance decrease because I'm in the middle of streaming this. Okay, I'm assuming it's just something's gone wrong and it's just not going. Because it's 5 seconds. It should be basically instant. Let me try that again. Let me go back to this. I don't know. Oh, it's not even... Okay, that's it. The fact that it's not loading the playback, that's probably not a good sign. I still try the strategy that sometimes works when computers don't cooperate. You reboot. Blah. Yeah. Also, I did get Movavi through Steam, which I never do for software, but I only did because it was on a massive sale when I got it. It was like 80% off or something crazy like that, which is how I started using Movavi in the first place. Oh, right, you can't find the file because I changed the name. Okay. Although, well, that part should have been fine, but whatever. I'm also going to, while I'm at it, okay, I'm going to close this one more time because I just want to do a thing. The fact that it's probably going to keep, as I go to export, it's going to keep trying to be like, do you want the name to be Clip1? You have it not do that. Okay, over here, but up, and then over here, and then edited clips. I'm going to have the Movavi file also just match the name of this. It's fine. From here, can I just find Movavi? No. Okay, let me just quickly. Where I don't actually know where Movavi would be saved. I'm gonna just search for it. Find you. While that's looking, still going. I'm just gonna do it manually one more time. Edit. So there's also just some things making it slow just because I'm on a relatively new computer, so there's a lot of things I'm having to just reset up. And I keep finding new things, and I'm like, oh, I think I'm all set up and good to go, but nope, here's like one more thing, or whatever. Why are you trying to go there? Oh, no. Yeah, just, okay. Fine. Be that way. Just open you up. You're good. Export. Oh, okay, interesting. I can't export the audio directly, but I want to still export this as a video because even though the video part of it isn't there, it's still meant to be. Oh, wait, is all this going to reset every time? Oh, no. That's very unfortunate. Hoping to go, I initially chose to go with okay, well, fine. I was initially hoping to go with Movavi. Okay, there we go. That was fast. Yep. That's what I thought was going to happen the first time. Did you? Oh, did I not? Oh, there you are. Yep. Ta-da!
There are a lot of things that move in video games, and lots of those moving things need animation. There are a lot of things...
Oh, I got cut off. I cut off myself at the end there. There's also the extra quirk with this video specifically is because there's the time of the monitor, the little bit of it flipping in at the beginning and the little bit of it flipping away at the end. This is the other thing that I'm going to be having to sort of fine tune and figure out how it's going to work with this specific video. It's likely that the videos will need extra padding on the beginning and ends. Yeah, so just to work basically. Is there not an easy way to have that? There's no easy like magnetized thing. We'll see if I soon regret my decision to. Okay, that'll say that. We'll see if I soon regret Movavi. I'm like, oh, I remember why I stopped using and used Premiere instead. Because as much as Premiere is not great, does.
Animation. There are a lot of things that.
Did I really say animation singular, even though the line I wrote in my script was animations plural? Whatever, it's close enough. Blah. So now, in theory, as a test, I should be able to copy this. Go here, in here. I want to paste this over top, replace it. In theory, I could just export it here directly, and maybe that is what I'll do next time, but... Oh, it's muted. Yep, that'll do it. Cool.
There are a lot of things that move in video games, and lots of those moving things need animation. Boy, oh boy.
See, I was still saying the line as the thing went away, so in theory that wouldn't happen. Even if it might happen a little bit, but just not as much. So, okay. Yeah, I was hoping that me editing these would be quick, like, chop, throw in. Looks like it might not be that way, but I think I will go straight to, putting these directly in here. I could have the unedited videos be in that folder as well, but I wanted to keep, the stuff that's not needed by the actual Unity scene outside of the project. Well, it's almost in not in the assets folder where every time I'm making a change, it's going to try to re-edit or re-import stuff. So I guess I'm gonna take you out. Yeah. I'll leave the video and the intro and outro ones there, I suppose. Here, this, you. All right, let's see.
There are a lot of things that move in video games, and lots of those moving things need animation. Boy, oh boy.
There's still that, like, overlap. There can also be a little bit of, if I did want, like, another tactic I can do is I guess I can have the video go further than the actual audio file if I'm worried about, like, overlapping audio. That's another tool I have. Now, okay, now one thing I've also just considered is, currently the speed that, like, the monitors are flipping in and out is consistent every time. So right now I'm having to do like, oh, let's make it a little bit more, a little bit less, blah 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 blah. It could be like once I get this working the first time, I then might be able to cut these up right to the audio and then have a more consistent, like, oh, it's gonna be exactly this many seconds each time. So maybe I'll start that. Oh yeah, it sucks that I can't quite just line stuff up to exact measurements as easily as Premiere.
There are a lot of
but I do think that if I did this in Premiere, like, the actual act of exporting, like, will take a lot longer. There is I do say it's just very delayed.
There are a lot
that's funny.
Things need animation. There are
whatever. It's fine. I don't know how many of these I'll potentially re-record, but we'll see. So what if this goes to, like, here? How's that? Blah blah. I don't know if I can toggle it doing that sound effect every time, but oh well, it's fine for now.
There are a lot of things that move in video games, and lots of those moving things need animation. Boy, oh boy.
Okay, sure. Easier. So, like, okay, it's like that's good enough for a first round. What will also make the audio better? I mean, so one, I haven't done any audio editing. I mean, we'll see if I do or not. I don't actually even remember, like, audio editing-y tools in this. If I actually do care more about audio editing, then maybe I'll go to, like, maybe I'll have to go do Premiere stuff, but for now, like, I'm not great at audio editing in general. But there's also gonna be the thing there's gonna be background audio the whole time, so we'll make the audio sound less bad by just having background music. That will, to some degree, make it better. Just like this stream that's happening right now, when I normally have background music for a video game music that's not playing right now because we're doing a lot of just messing with audio stuff. But, wow. Yeah. Well, that could be playing until I load up the next clip here. So once I have this, then I'm gonna just have to go new project, and then just for the second one. But I need to know the name of it. Oh no. Yeah. Eventually. Yeah. This is the process. A process that I have to do 18 times, even though I well, not 8, because these two don't count. So. Well, 15, yeah. Okay, that, and then I need to add in, face unedited, separate. Oh, technically, well, so this is actually one of the few clips that actually is going to be me talking directly to the camera. So this will be a lot easier to line up. Although, actually, wait, I was just about to make a mistake. I still will potentially need stuff on both sides. Okay.
Hey there.
But then, like, again, because of the swingy monitor, like, us, the viewer, will not see, like, the first frame of this because the monitor's off screen with the few frames of it swinging on. So I'm fine with, like, the frame at the beginning or whatever, the frame at the end not looking great. Yeah.
Hey there, I'm Cyberchroma. I made a game in 9 days, not for any sort of competition or whatever, just as a fun little challenge to plan, make, and complete a game in a short amount of time. And now I want to make a tutorial out of something that I did while making that game. Something that when I made, I went, oh cool, I didn't know that that was a thing that could be done. Neat. And so now I'm passing that new knowledge to you.
That works. It's good enough. I'm not great at writing for ooh, this all saved. Okay, cool. I don't have to do all that every time. I do have to Where are you trying to... Oh, no, you are going to the right place. Okay, cool. Yes, overwrite that. That's great. That's a little bit less that I have to redo every time. Okay, you straight to Unity. So in theory, we will see 2 clips. One of them not being as much of a temporary one. Although I might do more. I've debated the idea of like adding like fuzzy static on top of the live action shots to fit the like being on a monitor kind of thing. We'll see.
Animation. Hey there, I'm Cyberchroma. I made a game in 9 days, not for any sort of competition or whatever, just as a fun little challenge to plan, make, and complete a game in a short amount of time. And now I want to make a tutorial out of something that I did while making
the clip after this is then the intro, so it's also a finished clip. So that's a thing we get to see now.
Oh, cool! I didn't know that was a thing that could be done. Neat. And so now I'm passing that new knowledge to you.
Cool. And like that's not that much different than my other like a normal video of mine. Let me find literally as example. 2 examples. The last tutorial that I made. How has it been 2 years? 2 years is too long. By comparison, this is the intro of my submarine video. The lighting, the color grading was not great in hindsight, but whatever, it's fine.
Hey there, I'm Cyberchroma, and today we're making a submarine. We'll take this motionless hunk of metal, and over the next 20 minutes, we'll get it to move forwards and backwards, spin left and right, rise up, sink down, and even correct its rotation when it bumps into stuff. As a bonus, we'll also program some animations, like these turbines that spin depending on how you move, having the fins turn as you move vertically, and having this turning drill in the front. And don't worry, the visuals are just to make the video look cool. No matter your skill with Unity, you can follow along with some colored cubes, and you'll do just fine.
This doesn't have background audio.
I didn't
put background audio in this? What I think I did.
Let's get started.
The running off screen. Hey, intro. This is the first video with that intro. Yeah, so this is a 2-year-old video. It looks like it's much older. Like, I'm so proud of this video overall. This took a long time to make. It has, like, a lot of editing. There's, like, some slight jokes, like, cutting between stuff. It's overall good. It just... Yeah. But, okay, so I thought in my head that when I recorded this that I was, like... close enough to the same energy, but I was way more like, yeah, let's make a submarine, woo!
There are a lot of things that move in video games.
I'm louder here. Different microphone, different webcam, and all that.
Hey there, I'm Cyberchroma. I made a game in 9 days, not for any sort of competition or whatever, just as a fun little challenge to plan, make, and complete a game in a short amount of time. And now I want to make a tutorial out of something that I did while making that game. Something that when I made, I went, oh cool, I didn't know that was a thing that could be done. Neat. And so now, I'm passing that new knowledge to you.
Do I need to re-record those? And I thought I did it with, like, being high energy or whatever, but maybe I need to go in more like, hey, yeah. No. Maybe I'll re-record those. I don't know if I have the time to re-record them. We'll see. By comparison, so this is my last video that I made 2 months ago.
If I told you that I was a music man now, would you believe me?
Actual background music.
Because I'm not. Hey there, I'm Cyberchroma. So I made these recently, and I wanted to talk about them and give some credit to some sources that helped me make them. This is also kind of a bit of a test video, experimenting with a video format, and using this one.
Don't mind me as I'm now just comparing my older videos to my current in-progress one.
Well, it started with an intro.
How? Okay. So, one thing is just, I think, maybe I'm crazy, how I'm delivering these lines here isn't that different than the other one. This, having, like, background music, I think, is helping it. There's also, I do think that visually, I like this. Yeah, I like this being all very white and bright compared to what I currently have going on now. I think for this immediate next video that that goes out, I'm fine with this is how it is, whatever. But then maybe for the next one, but by the time I make the next video, I'll have more actual background stuff set up and even just better lighting or whatever. We'll see. Maybe so either painting my walls or like we do like maybe by then I go through the green screen approach, and then I'm on a green screen but with some kind of background that is just, it'd be cool actually for me to even just in a very prototype sense if I'm just green screened against this specific grid background. That could look cool. I like the idea of it being all like light and bright or whatever. But yeah.
Cyberchroma. So I made these.
So just to compare, I'm just now comparing like 2 live action shots.
Hey there, I'm Cyberchroma. I made a game in 9
I-
days, not for any sort of competition.
I guess in this particular clip, I'm not as loud. I could raise the volume, but...
Because I'm not. Hey there, I'm Cyberchroma.
No, I'm not yelling in that shot either. What's the difference? I feel like, I don't know, somehow this...
These recently, and I wanted to talk about them and give some credit to some sources that helped me make them. This is also kind of a bit of a test video experimenting with the video format and using this one as a guinea pig for it. So...
There's also, so, okay, this video was super hard to make. So was the submarine one. I really struggle to memorize my lines. That's why I intentionally designed this next video I'm working on right now, where most of the clips, I'm not talking directly into the camera, or I'm, it's gonna be more narration with other footage on top, so that I get to just
moving direction variable.
be reading the script directly. So it's like these, when I was recording these, the clips where I'm not having to be talking to the camera with actions and all that, these took like 2 takes or whatever. This is a, a long paragraph or whatever. This is a shot of me talking, into the camera, lab coat and all that. This took like a whole bunch of attempts to just memorize what the lines were and say them without messing up and all that. And trying to say them fast and like whatever. I don't know. I am going off of a lot of just one clip. I know that like the other clips are different. I think that like as the video was on, I kind of was talking faster and faster. And I think by the last one, let me look at like as an example. This is just the outro. I think this is just me saying my outro. 3, 2, 1, and nope. See, also there's the meme messing up.
That'll do it for this video. If you liked it, look forward to more. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you around.
I thought, I don't know. I'm unsure on how much I'm liking these recordings. Like maybe it's fine, and maybe like in context with like once I have all this stuff together, and once it has the background music, once it has all that stuff. Maybe even literally just if I raise the volume of the recordings, or I mean literally to my headphones, like turn them up. Me just being louder, maybe I'll like it more.
What are
but-
these? Why?
Yeah, me turning up my headphone volume here is not changing the volume of what you guys are hearing. I think what you guys are hearing is quieter compared to my own voice, but I want my talking to not be... talking of past me to not be being drowned out by... Or, me talking now, I want to be louder than the talking of these videos. That's why they're quieter, as far as what you guys are hearing.
I'm Cyberchroma. I made a game in 9 days, not for any sort of competition or whatever, just as a fun little challenge.
Okay, maybe it's not the volume. Maybe it's my speed. Maybe if I was just did this same thing but was faster. I don't know. But then again, I believe some of the later clips I am talking faster. But then I was worried like, oh no, am I talking too fast? That like, if I'm talking too fast and you can't understand what I'm saying, then like that's a problem.
This is a very specific example of nope.
Yep. See, memorizing lines
It's a very
hard.
specific example of how you may apply this technique, but it surely isn't the only one. And with that, I challenge you to try to find more ways to get more out of your animations. It doesn't have to just be to cut down on the number of individual animations that you make. You could take what an animation is doing and make tweaks based on a character's speed, or make something move more chaotically with randomness. Who knows?
Yeah. Okay. Now again, I'm just at the moment just comparing new to old.
Music with new
I did. So this video, I forgot. You know, I made this video 2 months ago. Halfway through, I suddenly looked different because this was right when I got super busy. Just life things got in the way or whatever. So then it was a while before I then eventually got back to streaming. And then, am I wearing? No, never mind. For some reason I thought I was wearing the same shirt from this, but I'm not even wearing a blue shirt, so never mind. we see the part where it actually clips over.
And two, it just wasn't the point of what I was trying to do. More so, my goal was to
My skin looks a lot lighter, even though I like it's not that far away. I believe I still have the exact same skin tone. It's just entirely a lighting thing. But yeah, same with my hair. My hair there looks more black. My hair here looks more actually brown. My hair is brown, but yeah. Also, I'm flipped, right? This hair curl is going the other direction than it is in the video because, yeah.
Pause real quick. It's been a while since I was working on this video, and I got busy. So let's just
Also got a
continue
haircut
and
since
ignore
then.
my different hair and different background and different shirt, and then I'm recording this on a different computer.
Oh, that also is me going from old computer to new one.
From the past. So with this last one, I picked a cartoony, almost bad.
Yeah. Interesting. Anyways, I don't know how much more I'm going to be hopping around this. I'm just comparing and deciding.
But that's a lot lower on the list. Anywho, I'm always going to be trying to...
I just want to compare me actually saying my last
as
outro
I
bit.
have the time to be not busy at work on them, you'll slowly start to see them. So all I can say is, it's all coming
Eventually.
So that'll do it for this video. If you liked it, look forward to more. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you around.
Was it just a microphone issue? I'm like, in theory, from this shot to right now, I'm using the same microphone, and yet I just feel like this sounds different. And I don't
That'll
fully
do it
know
for this
why.
Video. If you liked it, look forward to more. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you around.
I think I need to wait till there's music. I need to wait until there's actually like, because the other video, it's heightened by the fact that being the background music, I think is excelling it a lot. So okay, I'm gonna use these clips as is for now. Did I export this? I don't know if I did or not. Let me just, I may have moved around stuff, so let me just so folder inaccessible, excuse me. But is it because, oh, is it because I'm mid running Unity, so it's like literally using the file? That's cool. I've never seen that do that before. Also, I have some double folders things open up. Those are the same. Oh, what is trying to oh, that's because over here. Yep, other monitor shenanigans. Okay. Go. Sure. And you know what? Let's just, I can keep going back and forth all day. Let's just, as a, just to speed things up a little bit, go new, I need the name. It'd be faster if I just, there's the degree which I'm trying to like, oh, because of the sake of the stream, doing everything on one monitor, but it's useful when you have two monitors because you could be doing stuff on both. Do I want to just, here's what will speed things up, at least somewhat, is taking this and just making all the projects. We'll copy it from one, just duplicate. I need the name. That, blah, and then, because, well, yeah, it's going to be taking the file and then just replacing the clip and then blah, blah, blah. And then, let's do this real quick. Yeah, this will just save time with then I don't, like, less steps to have to do every time. I still have to, it's still also a step in this process that I have to get all the background footage, which that's going to be a whole thing. Some will be easier than others. There's some things where it's like, oh, I want just a little bit of a montage of, slight montage of my game, No Time to Think. But then I gotta still figure out, like, okay, like, what levels am I showing specifically, and, you know, like, how, like, what specific, like, again, it's taking a general idea. I want gameplay footage of my game, character going through levels, then turning that down to, okay, what levels am I grabbing specifically, and how exactly am I editing that together? It's a thing I struggle with, I'm hoping to get better at with practice and such. Okay, Unity. Okay, this isn't taking too long. There's getting through it. In theory as well, I wanted this video to be short-ish, just to trial run this idea on like a short video. I want the next one to also be short, because by making shorter videos, I can get them out faster, and then have a video be like shorter but more highly edited is kind of what I want to do. Yeah, do more with the like the moving screens thing. Just yeah, easier to do on like a smaller scale in theory. Yeah. Okay. The game, and then last one because the outro doesn't need this treatment. Okay, and good. Now the problem is I'm gonna have to now remember how far along I've gotten. Maybe I'll just quickly in a notepad document up to the side just write 4 because we're on 4. So now, and we skipped 3. I never actually did the whole, because it's annoying that I can't double click this and have this open up in Movavi. Well, whatever, I can just go, open. We're on 4, but then I just got to replace the audio, which then add media files, the U, and then take you, get rid of you, put you, got to find roughly where I say the stuff.
So to talk about something specific I made in this game, one animation being used here.
I am not really checking like the middle of things. This will also help me just to double check, just so I don't accidentally cut off things I don't mean to cut off. Did I close my script? No, it's over here. I'm gonna have my script over here just so I can, if I just see like the first word and like last word that's being used, I can, if I see the first and last words, I can then easier just double check that I am cutting things off at the right place.
So to talk about something specific being used here.
Yep.
So to talk.
That I need this kind of I don't know how much, but some amount of padding. Actually, I don't need the audio to go further over. And well, sometimes you want that little bit of like dead space or like the background noise will still be there, but because there will be additional in theory there will be additional like the gameplay stuff. Visual things and background music, it shouldn't be as necessary, hopefully. Okay.
So to talk about something specific I made and used here.
I can definitely tell that there was like background noises, but hopefully it's fine. Am I? I'm also unsure if, am I making the right decision here doing this in Movavi, or am I gonna regret that later and be like, I should have just done it in Premiere? I don't know. We're gonna see. Again, like none of this is gonna have super crazy edits. Anyway, okay. Have you? I'm not even gonna test stuff in Unity. We're just gonna go through all of these. Open project. We're now on 5. Get them all to be roughly what they need to be now, and then I'll kind of play it all back all together. Okay, so this is gonna not have you. It's gonna just be.
So this is something I'm calling animation. So this is something I'm calling animation overriding. Basically, the idea the way that I used it on this player here.
You need extra little bits again. Okay. There, you're probably good. Export, hit that. Dis. It's 11:30. I don't know when I'll stop. Well, because I've started this, it'll be easier for me to finish what I'm currently in the middle of, rather than having to remember, like, tomorrow if I work on this, like, oh, what video was I on specifically, and, like, blah, blah, blah. So I'd like to, if I ideally just can get through just at least this step of the process. That would be nice. In theory, if the next video has less overall clips, then there will be less total times I have to do this. But, this is video editing to some degree. I don't know how, like, professional, like, people who edit for, like, the big-time YouTubers, I don't know how they edit stuff so fast. It's insane to me. I don't know how they do it, because I cannot be that fast of an editor.
Animation that we're working with here. Sometimes when you animate a character in a game, say to do a run animation.
Something like that. Yeah, there's definitely like a little bit of background audio, and that's not great. But we'll see how that translates in the actual Unity scene, because that's where I actually care. And when there's other audio going on, other things, I can almost pretend like, oh yeah, that little background noise is just like from in the scene. It's just background ambiance. I don't know if I'll have like background music and like pretending that the scene that this is a part of, the actual background grid, like, oh, it's some environment where there's actually stuff going on and the actual like ambience of whatever, like factory noises. I don't know if I want to go that far. Like the whole thing with wanting to add more details onto the background, I just don't know what will be potentially too much noisiness in the background that's like distracting from the actual content of what the video itself is supposed to be. I don't know. So, and I mean, the main way for me to know is to just try stuff and then see. So, it's like, first, I kind of...
It does nothing.
It does nothing. Talking about, like, if you make a code change... thing with putting some stuff in update and it's not doing stuff because it's getting overridden, and then I talk about a late update being a thing. This is 7. Yep. On 7 of 8, but we get to skip 7 of 18, but we get to skip specifically 18, and we did skip 3. Yep. I'm hoping that these are decent. I'm sure that like because I am gonna have to go back to these anyways to what am I grabbing? No. I'm gonna have to go to these anyways to grab what am I on? I'm on 8 currently. Yep. To put in the actual footage and all that. Wait, why did this... Okay. So then if, like, the things aren't perfectly matching up... I want to say that this first bit of audio is a fumble.
1, 2. The animation...
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I'm not the best at, like, recording lines for things. But again, how you get better at stuff is by practicing. Like... what I'm doing right now is just live streaming and talking in front of a camera. You get better at stuff with practice. Wait, this feels like too much at the beginning.
The animation takes over.
Maybe not. Again, hard to tell until I have the actual, like, seeing it with the monitor flips. Especially on the clips where there's gonna be background footage, it might be more fine for there to be like, because at the beginning there's still gonna be visual stuff going on. So if the audio starts a little bit later, it might be fine. I just don't want the video to be slowed down too much by if there's too much pausing. By keeping things fast and more interesting, be good. Okay, on to open 9. Add the 9 one. So I was just saying something, and I had forgotten.
But you see, in Unity, there's this handy of the animation calculations.
Yeah. And, like, with any kind of video people make, like, different people will have their own preferences for how things should or shouldn't be done. Some people prefer the talking faster, some people prefer the talking slower, some people would... like there being like, oh, there's cool stuff going on in the background, it's visually interesting. Yeah, some people would be more like, just do the video, do the tutorial, don't bog down with all the other stuff, just do what the tutorial is and nothing else. It's all a game of preferences. But and yeah, it's like there's no one right way to go about these things, but there are a lot of wrong ways, and I just gotta find not at minimum not do a way that's so horrendously wrong. It's like, how could you possibly have thought this would have been a good idea?
So how can
Oh, I did. So okay, yeah, this one I messed up like a little bit into it. So there might actually have already been some cases like that.
That's not at all.
Oh yeah, I remember this. I went like off script, and because I just forgot lines and then just kind of went with it and said something completely different. But then in the aftermath, I'm like, you know what? It was close enough. I'll modify the script, and like what I did say like works. So I did do that a bit, which is funny.
So how can we use this? This means that...
Yeah, and again, yeah, it's hard to tell, like, am I talking too fast, too slow? Is it, like, too slow so it's boring, but I was talking faster, would then it be harder to, understand what I'm saying? One thing that's hard with talking fast is stumbling over my words, especially when if I'm talking directly into a camera with memorized script, like, that's hard, because, like, I just have to say more memorized words faster, and that's just more difficult. So I think you'll see in the video, I'm in generally talking faster when I'm reading my script for just the audio-only segments. But then I'm talking a bit slower when I'm talking towards the camera because I had to actually memorize stuff.
We could just... We could just...
Okay. But yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay.
We could just take things.
Okay. I'd rather, this be slightly too long than too short. I don't want to cut off stuff that I'm saying for right now. That's 11. We're getting through it. This is, now that I did the step of making, like, the fact that the duplicating these, this is feeling like it's, taking less time now, which is good. 12. And then import number 12. Yep. And this video also, I think, is longer than compared to, like, maybe some of my other tutorials will be, that I want to be making some short videos, because this video is having to accomplish two things. It's both, hey, here's a tutorial on this topic, and also it's, hey, I made a game in 9 days, let me just say some words about that.
Just like that,
But it's not the focus of the video. Okay.
Just like that.
That's 12. Blah. But, after doing, like, by cutting down these beginning and ending of things, I will then get a better idea of how long the actual overall video will be. Because another thing I can ramble about, I said this in the last stream, but I'll say it again because just saying stuff while I'm working. In terms of the audio of the video, I'm either going to do two things. Actually, three things, kind of. Option A, option B, and then a mix of the two. Is the background audio of the video will either be random, like my other videos, or like I do in the stream where I just have my playlist of random video game music, and I take a few of that and just random video game music going through the whole video. Or, hold on.
In the case of left and right inversion.
Cool. Okay, let me interrupt my own previous sentence to say there might be some clips like this where I purposely want to let it hang for a bit if I'm, like, showing something on screen or whatever. Like, this is going to be a clip where I'm showing code, so depending on, like, how that goes and how it times with my voice, we'll see, and then we'll see if I have to re-record stuff. I just hope that if I do have to re-record things, it's not going to then sound out of place, where it's like, here's a clip where I'm talking like this, and then here's a clip where I'm talking like this, and it doesn't now sound good unless I re-record the whole thing. But, we're gonna see. This is... Yeah, a lot of what I'm doing here is some, like, trial, trying out things and just seeing if they work, and if they don't. Did I don't know if I exported. I don't remember already if I did this. I don't think I did. Okay, blah, doesn't take that long anyway. I do think that Movavi here is being good for, I believe that the actual rendering here is being a lot faster than if I hypothetically used Premiere for this. I feel like this process would have been a lot slower. I feel like Premiere tends to be slower. Yeah. Anywho. So what I was saying about audio is that two things I do, either the normal thing I've done with some of my videos of just random background music, of video game music, or I've been learning FL Studio recently-ish, and the idea of having the entire video be, like, I make background music as me practicing trying to make level music or whatever. I just don't know if I'm skilled enough to do that, and how well that'll go. So I might do a mix where there's, like, maybe from the very beginning of the video to up until the intro, that's, like, some custom thing I make, and then the rest of the videos, random video game background music or something, but we'll see how that goes.
Now that's just one animation values correctly. Right, just hoping that I...
Okay, just looking at, like, areas where it's like, oh, is there a dip because
If I now wanted
when it's done. Okay. Export video. Blarg. Okay. Yep. And then does this? Like, I genuinely forget if Adobe or if Movavi had actual audio related editing or not. It has a chroma key thing. That's interesting. Ooh. Okay. Okay. There's right. There's potential options. I'm just gonna let the audio be by default right now. But if I am thinking that the audio is having some minor problems, that is not sounding as good as that previous video, might be a matter of if I yeah, just do some like noise filtering or whatever, then maybe I can get it to just sound to the quality that I want and not have to re-record things necessarily. There's also the idea I could like if I do think I'm talking too slow, I could take a clip and actually just speed up the audio ever so slightly, as long as it doesn't sound too funky. Shoot, for my rambling, I forgot. No, I think I did do 14 already, but oh well, doing it again. Blah. Yes, and then you open. Has there been? I did this one with the face. Yeah, that one I just did 14. 15 is another face one, so it has different rules. Right, get rid of all that, and this is just. I'm assuming that was me slipping up, probably to like there. Sometimes I'll at the end. I think this spike might be me going like yes, like I did the line without messing up.
Again, this is a very specific example of randomness. Who knows?
Never mind, I was just completely wrong.
With randomness. Who knows?
Again, there's clips at like I need extra frames at the beginning and end of all these clips because of the going in and out. There's like it's interesting how with compared to traditional video editing, like I'm having to have some kind of additional rules, just with how I'm using these clips specifically. That yeah, hopefully works out good. Okay, 16. Almost there. It's 11:39. So probably after this, I will probably have to end things off because, again, I need to. I got things to do, like sleeping, and having a job. So I might wrapping up things soon, but making good progress. Did all that introductory rambling before about just different random stuff, which was cool and all, and now. Did make the progress of which I wanted to do over the course of the stream, which was just getting these clips edited. And then I'll be on to the next stage of this, which I'll have to figure out what specifically I want to do next. I mean, start to be getting the actual videos together, all the visuals, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how all that goes. Oh, no, you don't. Like that or something.
So that's all.
Just go back a little bit.
So that's all for this today. That's a challenge for me for another day.
Yep. One thing I'm looking forward to, in theory, so when I move from making tutorials to making... Oh, I didn't render this one. When I want to make just some pure animated shorts or whatever, I'm hoping that writing them will be... Like, it'll be hard, but, like I have some kind of ideas for some stuff, but, having to write tutorials, it's almost like there's only so interesting that they can be when it still has to just be an educational video teaching educationally stuff. And there's only so interesting and crazy that I can make that. Whereas with making just a pure, like a video, rather than this like a video that's like entertainment and educational, making a video that's just pure for entertainment's sake, I potentially have more breathing room to like, I don't know, there's more stuff I can potentially do, or there's less like restrictions on stuff that I have to do with these because it's a tutorial in this way that I want to do them or whatever. But
that'll do it for this video. If you liked it, around.
Okay.
I'll see you around.
Is that a mouse click? There's maybe some sound there. No, it wouldn't be a mouse click because I'd be in the middle of hand motions, but whatever. Okay, whatever. This is the last of these clips, and then yeah, whoa. Because again, 18 is already just an animation that's already done. So that, in theory, go to here. Let this re-import all these. Yeah, cool. And I do like the loading thing. It's just more like even like me, I know what I'm doing with these different clips, but just people are watching as I'm doing stuff. It's more obvious that like this is the thing that's not done yet. So let's not have the footage of me staring off to the side looking at a script or whatever. So I guess as just a first run through, like with all the timings, I'm expecting there's gonna be at least like 2 things that are gonna be mistimed that I'm gonna have to correct. Rather than if I wait and fix one thing at a time and have to play through the whole video again, I'm just gonna anything that I'm like, ooh no, the timing of that was really bad. I'll write down what clip it was and then fix it. Yeah, all right, here we go.
There are a lot of things that move in video games, and lots of those moving.
If something is like slightly off, I'm not going to care that much because like, oh, when I put in the footage, that will probably have to rearrange anyway. I'm looking for if something is very off, like I'm cutting off a word or there's way too long of a pause or something like that. There's also the monitors themselves don't have to be completely against the screen. Some of them might be slightly like tilted. We're gonna wait on that probably until we also have all the visuals and then see how much I can get away with. Oh, this monitor's tilted, but you can still see what's going on. It's not too distracting from the content of what's going on. Okay.
Things need animation. Hey there, I'm Cyberchroma. I made a game in 9 days, not for any.
You know what we're also gonna do? Hold on. I said so again. These videos will have background music that is random video game music. So I'm gonna play the stream background music. So we'll be hearing that while these are playing because then that'll be more realistic to how it's actually going to sound. And you know what? I see chemical plant here, not too far away, so we're going to have that. I've made it a bit quieter because the audio of this should not overpower my voice from this, so let's hope it doesn't do that. I'm going to make it quite quiet. Alright. Hopefully the audio balancing of that is good. Let's find out. Oh.
There are a lot of things that move in video games, and lots of those moving things need animation. Hey there, I'm Cyberchroma. I made a game in 9 days, not for any sort of competition or whatever, just as a fun little challenge to plan, make, and complete a game in a short amount of time. And now
I sit silently for 5 minutes. Here we go.
Something that when I made, I went, oh cool.
Ready to jot stuff down.
That could be done. Neat. And so now I'm passing that new knowledge to you.
That's loud. Might adjust that part, but...
So to talk about something specific I made in this game of mine, let me first briefly show you the game itself, called No Time to Think. So here we have the game, and you don't gotta worry about everything else going on here, but basically we have a character that moves around in a grid on a timer.
I'm also gonna listen for slip-ups if I accidentally didn't cut out when I start talking and then I mess up and then keep talking.
How the player moves from square to square. This cube doesn't just snap to the next grid space. It has a nice bouncy squash and stretch animation. More dynamic movement is just more interesting. Now, though this cube can move in 4 different directions, and it has 4 ways to
just imagine the amazing video that will be here when I...
So this is something I'm calling animation overriding. Basically the idea of having one animation and be able to reuse it in different contexts with the magic that is coding. Now, there are probably so many different places that you can use this kind of thing, but we're going to use as an example the way that I used it on this playthrough. So this is that singular animation that we're working with here. Sometimes when you animate a character in a game, say to do a run animation, you'd animate a character running in place, then move a parent game object to actually move the player around. I could have done that here, but since the player moves in these fixed grid increments, I decided to actually have the animation include the movement all the way to the next square. Also made it easier to see the time.
I try to talk too much because I don't want to talk over potential audio issues.
Decipher this weirdness when it's moving in place. So with this one animation that stretches upwards, how can we use this to stretch the cube downwards?
How can we?
Many solutions to approach this problem. Some have different pros and cons. This is the one that I wanted to go with, and for me, it worked wonderfully. This is the part of the code that controls the player, and we can ignore most of it except the parts we actually want to change.
Is the audio
All
peaking?
All we need to know is that there's this moving direction variable that's deciding what way the player is currently moving. So up, down, left.
On my own time, I'll probably do more
that direction,
messing with the audio itself. It'll be easier, I think, to do that not in the middle of a stream, I imagine. Especially if I do have to re-record stuff. But
some random position we want to set it to, we'll quickly find that it does nothing. The animation takes over and just does the upwards version regardless of what we do in update. Trying to change the position just doesn't matter. This is caused by the order that things run behind the scenes.
Is this still going?
In our favor here.
What?
You see, in Unity,
Variety.
there's this handy reference image for the order that Unity's special functions run. As you can see, the update function runs early on, then later in the same frame, Unity does the animation calculations and sets the positions for what the animation wants it to be. So are we out of luck? No, with our secret weapon, late update. If the name isn't descriptive enough, late update is like update in that it runs every frame, but it runs even later in the frame. In our case, it even runs after all of the animation calculations.
Yep.
So how can we use this? This means that in late update, we could just override the animation entirely by setting the position of the object to whatever we want. Or, where we get more cool and interesting behavior, is by looking at where the animation has decided where the object should be, and then do additional stuff with that. We can just take the position that we know is going to go up the relative amount that we want it to upwards, and just invert the z value to have it go the same amount downwards. And by having this code run in late update instead, we'll find this time it actually does something. And just like that, the animation is flipped. Knowing the right technique, just a little bit of code can be so powerful. We can then take
So far, the audio, like,
the same animation work for
there was no massive audio issues.
In the case of
Ooh, there almost was there, but I think it was pretty fine.
Axis, we want to move on the x. So rather than just inverting a value, we can swap those two parts of the position in late update. For the squashing and stretching, we'll then also want to swap the x and z parts of the scale too. That'll now move us to the right. Adding on to that and moving to the left is just a matter of another inversion. Now that's just one animation being used 4 ways. If I now wanted to adjust the timing of the animation, I only have to do it once and don't have to worry about making the same small tweaks over and over and just hoping that I copy all the values correctly. Again, this is a very specific example of how we apply this technique.
Wait, I don't know what video we're on. Well, no, because, 14, right? Yeah. That was 14-end, I'll say. That one needs to be adjusted. Okay.
But it surely isn't the only one. And with that, I challenge you to try to find more ways to get more out of your animations. It doesn't have to just be to cut down on the number of individual animations that you make. You could take what an animation is doing and make tweaks based on a character's speed, or make something move more chaotically with randomness. Who knows? So that's all for this tutorial. If you're curious on the game that this was a part of, No Time to Think, you can play it if you'd like from the description. It's got 18 levels, some neat mechanics, and the thing I'm most proud of with it are some examples of level design that subtly teaches the player a mechanic without feeling too much like a tutorial or needing...
My outro is about to start fading in, so I'm going to stop the background music so that I can then hear the... Because we do have coding stuff in place that the outro music fades in and then times with the animation itself coming in. So let's hear that as this wraps up.
Text on screen. It was made in a short time span, so it's not the
Wait,
most
why is...
terrible thing you'll ever play,
Oh.
but it's another thing I can add to the pile of things I think.
Whoops.
I do want to return to it and give it a lot more polish, maybe make a bigger version 2.0 of it. That's a challenge for me for another day. That'll do it for this video. If you liked it, look forward to more. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you around.
Yep. Outro. Okay. I'm gonna wait for it to fully go through. Because it automatically exits the editor, which is cool. It automatically went out. Cool. Let me start by just making, there's 2 edits. 1:17, I accidentally just, it should have the face part of it. Since it's this one, I can just back up and, no, back up all the way to when it was, yeah, I just straight up did this one wrong. Wasn't paying attention enough. Okay. And for now, I'm not going to play through and, for now, I'm not going to bother, I'm not going to play through the whole thing right now just to see this. I do have a debug tool that I can, literally just a debug int. I can set the int to like start the video at any clip like partway through the video. So if I do want to see a change I made to clip 17, I don't have to play through the whole video to get there. So like that is handy and saves time. Because there are some things like the fact that I'm not doing this like a traditional YouTube video. There are some things I'll have to kind of give up. But this is still a style that I wanted to play around with and see how I could, if I could make this work. For my needs. There's some things I'm like purposely not doing because of the style. 17 end or 14 end had
Copy all the values correctly. Now
okay, it wasn't as much as I thought, but yeah.
Now that's just one correctly. Now that's just
my E at the end kind of goes long.
values correctly.
That's better. For this like first draft, yeah, I'd rather stuff not be cut off. Okay, blah, and then that, yeah, goes to 14 easily. Nice, awesome, fantastic. And then I go back here, and it's already in. So like, there's like some parts of this that are pretty easy. Like I make a change, press a button, and then boom, it's back in this. And I don't like the fact that I have code that's automatically like when the one clip finishes, it goes to the next. So like me changing the times of clips, that doesn't throw anything off here. In theory, if I do make background music, that should be like the very last thing I do, because that will be potentially thrown off by if I change the length of videos drastically, or if I re-record any clips. I'm undecided. Like on one hand, I don't want to have to go through and re-record every clip, but like I feel like there might be something slightly off with the audio, but maybe I can. It's just a matter if I do audio setting stuff. But like I'm using the same exact microphone between, well, not actually, the beginning of this video is using a different microphone. The end of this video is using the microphone and the webcam that I'm using right now. So there is a problem with the audio a little bit, that it shouldn't be like it's the same hardware. I have a microphone that's like a decent one. So there's that. I did mess, I think, a little bit with like the gain and stuff, but I didn't think I did that much. Actually, I'm curious. What is the? I'm not gonna touch it right now, but yeah, the gain is pretty low. So there's like dials on the back for whether it's picking up from like the front or like all around and whatnot. I've tinkered with those, but I think I currently have it on what's kind of the best, where it's picking up from in front. But and I'm pretty sure, maybe I'm mistaken. I could do some tests, not while I'm like, I can't hear myself midstream, but I believe it picks up the audio best right now talking from in front rather than on top of it. I believe like right now it's sounding worse than in front, but I can do more testing for sure, and if I find that to not be the case, then I can mess with it. If I have to re-record like one clip or something, I can do that. I just don't have to re-record all of it. I don't have the time for that. I also, like, I did the Terry Fox run last weekend, and like my legs are sore and I have blisters. So like I don't want to be standing and jumping around right now. So that would delay things if I do decide to re-record stuff. Oh, it's different. If I re-record an audio only clip, that's different than re-recording any of the like the video proper, like me talking to the camera clips, but we'll see. I can tinker with it a little bit, but maybe I won't go too far with it, and maybe like for the next video I'll do an extra amount of messing around, but you know, who knows. I do think so, seeing the videos actually playing, or like the ones that are edited, I think I'm more liking the idea of trying can I actually mess with this right now? I don't know if this will work. The idea of having the monitors themselves have some slight... Whoops. Oh, right. Pressing Control-Z in...
There are a lot of
well, when there's video stuff going, video clips do not like that.
Hey there, I'm CyberChroma. I made a game in 9 days, not for any sort of competition or whatever, just as a fun little challenge.
Just like
make and complete a game in a short amount of time.
There was if there was some amount of like very slight hovering, like would that be good?
Cool. I didn't know that was a thing that could be done. Neat. And
like
so
a little bit of both hovering and hard to. Maybe like these animations, they wouldn't move just to be more.
Talk about something
I don't know.
I made in this game of mine. Let me first briefly show you the game itself.
It's hard to decide.
So here we have
like,
the game, and you don't gotta worry about everything.
Like, would that be a problem, or would it look good if there's a slight bits of turning or slight bit of movement? As long as I don't, if I went super crazy with it, I imagine it would look really bad. But if it was very subtle, maybe it would look good. It's hard to say. But then there's also, if the camera itself had this very slight, like, if it's just very slowly turning the whole time, or if it's, you know, moving through an environment or whatever, like, should it have both? I don't know. I am undecided. And these potential ideas that I might do, I don't know if they should all wait. I don't know if these should all... Let me mute that for now. I don't know if these should wait until I have the actual video clips themselves in, because they potentially matter more. Because that, in terms of what this video needs to be technically done, there's going to be a difference between there's there's going to be a difference between video being technically like having all the pieces in place and it's releasable in some capacity, and then there's the extra mile of making it look better. Deciding to make the camera turn, the background move in some way, like whatever, that's not 100% necessary, but it could look cool, or it might not. And then I go back on it. I don't know. But a thing that definitely needs to be done is these loading screen like temporary video things. Like I do need to swap those out, getting the actual recordings that I need of code and some Unity in scene, like in the editor stuff, and like. Yeah, footage of the game, the grid top-down game thing. I need some gameplay footage of that, and then some footage of that from like in the scene view, pointing out some game objects and stuff with the player. I know one clip I need is like the moving animation, like from the animation window, like that on loop. I know I need that as an example, so I have to go grab that. Technically, that stuff is more important. Although, if I do stuff like re-record, maybe I'll mess with the audio first. If I do think that the audio sounds slightly off, I'll mess with the actual audio settings, because whether or not I decide I want to re-record any clips, that kind of matters, because then the timing of how I say words will, to some degree, affect the clips themselves. If I go as far as to, like, rewrite sentences, I think I'm too far into this that I'm probably not going to do that. Unless I would only do that if I need to re-record a clip for another reason, but I think script is, like, fine enough as it is. Unless I record stuff to, like, talk faster. I thought that when I was recording them that I was talking fast. But then seeing them actually be, like, in playback, like, it's not as fast as I thought. But that's not necessarily a problem. Like, sometimes it can be good for videos to be slower, like... And I don't think I talk slow. I just... Like a medium, I guess. And sometimes that can be good. Because if it's too fast and you don't understand what I'm saying, especially for a tutorial... Talking at a good enough speed so you can soak in like what's happening, what I'm talking about, or whatever tutorial thing that I'm teaching. Like that can be good. So I don't know. Maybe I'll leave that part of this. But there's like I'm gonna mess with Movavi and like doing some like at least a little bit of like noise reduction and stuff like that. So, and then maybe I can get that to sound good enough, and then not have to re-record anything, and then get those the visuals in there, and then I can assess, like, the background, the monitors themselves. In theory, this wasn't going to be the final, what the monitors even look like. I wanted to make actual, more sci-fi looking monitors. I don't know what I actually want them to look like to be more sort of sci-fi or whatever. So, that's also kind of pending on what is going to happen there. And even, like, the sort of arm here, there was potentially, like, the actual act of them swinging in and out, like, making that more interesting. There's more stuff that I can do with that, but then there's also the question of, as I've said before, is, like, how much of that do I want to do for this video, or release this video with not having a whole lot of that stuff, to then have the next one have more of those visual improvements or whatever. Like, in theory, for this first one, I want to leave, like, the background just being basically this white grid. Maybe it might be more, could be more of, like, a corridor that the camera's going down, but I still want the aesthetics to basically be just this white grid background, just let that be it. For the next one, I still like the background being this, like, grid sort of aesthetic, but I could change the colors and do more with that. Have different videos. So this tutorial is on this animation overriding thing. The idea of like, hey, an animation is doing stuff, now in late update, do something based on what the animation did. Like take it and invert it on the Z-axis, so an animation that went up is now going down, or swap the X and the Z so that the animation is now going left or right. That's what this tutorial is, and also talking about the game that I made. The next one is going to be on making lasers. Particularly just... it should be a quick, simple tutorial on specifically how I made these lasers here that we already made in a previous stream. I then need to like convert this into like its own Unity project and then whatever, blah, blah, blah. But basically just the simple programming that went in, and even I would probably cover the graphical part of setting up the line renderer. Yeah, how I made these. So that should be a short one. That's in theory, not a super simple, but like a simple enough short idea that like by having a shorter video, I'd be more willing to have it be shorter and then higher quality, I guess, easier than having a hour-long video to match that same level of quality or whatever. I don't know. But then the background itself might be different. or probably will be different, but I just don't know exactly what it's going to look like. I don't know if at one point I sort of evolved from... Let me get background music back in here. Something like that. Yeah. I don't know to what degree... what am I saying? Yeah, as I said, how detailed the background should be. Like, if you take this idea and imagine how it could be when it's, like, polished to the 10th degree, if it's, like, a whole really insane, crazy background with stuff moving, all crazy stuff flying all over the place, and, like, the monitor itself being all crazy sci-fi, like, little things coming off it, like dials, like, who knows what those mean, it's science-y stuff, whatever. Like, the camera itself is moving around, and, like, the monitors themselves have, like, a bit of static, and maybe it's not perfect corners, it's, like, slightly rounded or whatever, and, like, the way they move on and off the screen is super interesting, and, like, they move up and down as the videos are going, and maybe there's, like, dust particles going around, or, like, blah, blah, blah. There's, like, yeah, you know, more, yeah, places that, like, this can go to be that polished, but then I have to just see, like, how will that actually look. And will that, if I tried to go to that level, like, would that reach a point where all the environmental stuff is too noisy, there's too much going on, that it loses focus on, like, what the clips are showing? And, like, that's I don't know. Yeah. It's, like, stuff, a lot of things I could do, and then even if I did decide I want to do those, like, go that far with it, it's, you know, how specifically would I do that? Yeah. Things to still figure out, but I think the next thing I'm gonna do with this is, as I said, just maybe tinker with the audio a little bit, hopefully not having to re-record stuff, and then start getting the actual video clips in place, so that the video can be technically a finished video from start to finish, having all the core components that the video itself actually needs to be the video that it is, and then we can then reassess graphical stuff. And again, there's things that are like, if I have something that might look cool, I can try it, and then if it doesn't work, then I can undo it. Always, that's a possibility, so we'll see. But then at some point I'll have to, like, decide, like, okay, these ideas, like, we're gonna save them for the next go at this. But yeah, hopefully we can make something cool by the time, yeah, this video will be done. So I think we're gonna wrap things up for today for this stream. I don't know if I'll stream tomorrow. Hard to say, because at this point, like, yeah, the next thing I'm going to be doing is working on this. The next thing I'm going to be doing is actually recording footage. I don't know how well I'll be able to do that. Like, I can have multiple copies of OBS open, but I expect that might have some issues. And the act of recording that, it might have some performance issues if it's not just one thing of OBS, so I might have to not stream tomorrow, maybe the next couple of days, just so I can focus on the recording of the footage and just assembling that. Because I don't have, like, I still, like, yeah, have other things that are making me busy that, like even today, like, just having to choose, like, do I stream or do I work on stuff? So while I'm working on these videos, I'm kind of having to make that choice. Eventually, once I'm past some of these videos, or at least especially just this one, then I don't have to be making that choice as much, because I'll be purely just doing stuff, Unity coding-y things that can be streamed. It's like, yeah, I'll just be able to stream that stuff, especially when we get back to the point of working on the Handyman with Unicycle full time or whatever. But for now, yeah, still just working away on this and made good progress, I guess, today, which is, yeah, we're going for 2.5 hours and basically just, yeah, got the clips in place, so we kind of have a first draft at this, and yeah, it's coming along nicely. It's cool. So yeah, and yeah, it's cool. Yeah, this whole swing monitors thing, it is a unique idea, I think. Surely I'm not the only one who's ever, like, you know, people who do stuff in Unity using Unity footage to do stuff with visual cool things to happen in videos, but I don't know. Still, yeah, a little personal touch that, like, I guess the way that I'm doing this, and hopefully it turned out decently. So anyways, though, I guess, yeah, we'll end things off for today. So that'll do it for this live stream. If you liked it, look forward to more. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you around. All right, bye.